Daniel Negreanu has 6-3 suited.
Tony, the only reason I played is they told me you were going to be on the show. They just called me right now at my house, and they're like, we got a game with Tony G. And I got here as fast as I could.
And
so
if you didn't, someone else would have. It was a race, and you just beat someone else.
Pre-flop, this is Tony G doing Tony G things.
And you folded every hand, and you're tilting me up so much.
Hello? I have folded 2 hands.
He opens to 1500 with 10 deuce offsuit, pure ego fuel, not hand strength.
What is going on here? Bring someone that's gonna play a hand.
It is the kind of stab he loves.
Okay, I'll play.
6-3 suited looks like garbage on paper, but against Tony's opening range, it is exactly the kind of hand you do not mind defending. It is cheap, it is suited, it can flop disguise monsters, and most importantly, it keeps Tony's bluffs in the pot.
I'm the donkey, I gotta sit here and play every hand?
I have a maniac on my left.
What maniac? I'm just playing.
You have to play tight when you have a maniac on your left.
The flop comes ace-6-6, and it is about as close to a dream as you can script for the big blind defend. Negreanu goes from speculative suited trash to trips with 99% chance to win. The only question left is whether Tony G can read him for what he has or not.
Daniel thinks you can just take it from me.
He is up against a line that screams real strength from a player who is not known for punting stacks with nonsense in these spots.
You can. I mean, I can't defend it any longer.
I have 3 6s, by the way.
Really?
Of course, yeah. Because if I would have had nothing, you would have just played. But because I have 3 6s, you have to fold.
That is sick. You had 3 6s. Really?
I did, yes.
That's sick.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on King 10 offsuit. Pre-flop, this is Negreanu doing what every good straddler dreams of doing, punishing the limp fest. 4 players just flicking calls against his live straddle, essentially telling him, we do not have a raising hand. When he looks down at King 10 offsuit, it is not a monster, but in this configuration it becomes a weapon.
I'll go against my better judgment with this one.
He wants to play.
He bumps it up to 5,400, a size that taxes all the junky limp ranges and creates real money in the middle. Tony G decides to come along with Queen 3 suited. That call is very Tony. He has position, he has a suited hand, and he loves chaos. Strategically, it is loose but not insane when deep. And he gets Negreanu heads up, and that Negreanu is raising wide enough that post-flop aggression will matter more than raw hand strength. Once everyone else gets out of the way, those assumptions are live. This pot is now all about who tells the better story.
I have no idea what you have, just for the record.
The flop comes 7-8 jack with 2 spades, an absolute smash for the kind of hands Tony is supposed to defend with, and a very awkward board for a one-and-done c-bet from Negreanu. Negreanu checks with King 10. That check looks passive, but it quietly keeps his range uncapped. Tony, however, with Queen 3 of spades, does something that really shapes the hand. He takes the free card, and with it, he keeps his range face up. The turn is the 9, and that card flips the script in a way neither of them can see from the outside. Negreanu goes from decent equity to third best possible straight, but he does not rush to grab chips. He checks again. That second check is powerful. From Tony's seat, it looks like weakness, or at best, some kind of marginal showdown hand that did not want to bluff the flop and is now scared of the ever-worsening texture. For Tony, the 9 actually helps too. He now has Queen high with a gut shot to the 10 and his flush draw still live. The river pairs the jack, and this is where the hand becomes all about missed opportunity.
I got a straight.
Unbelievable. I mean, why can't I hit one time? It's like, I can't hit one hand. Played it so big, like, can't hit a hand at all.
Well, Daniel scoops up a nice pot of almost $64,000.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on 5-4 suited. Pre-flopman. This is a classic clash between perceived strength and disguised equity. Johanna 3 bets big with ace-queen, exactly the kind of hand that wants to isolate the opener and play a bloated pot from position.
Okay, I bet.
Negreanu flats on the button with 5-4 of hearts, fully aware that he is dominated high card-wise but armed with a hand that smashes low, connected boards. Once George gets out of the way, Johanna thinks she has created a clean heads-up spot against a capped calling range.
I pay.
When in reality, she has invited one of the worst possible suited connectors to the party. The flop comes a disaster for Johanna's range. Her overcards and backdoor possibilities shrink in value while Negreanu quietly connects as hard as it gets, a made straight with a live flush draw. When she continuation bets 100,000, it is completely standard. This is the board she is supposed to attack after 3-betting pre. Negreanu just check calls, and that passive line is lethal. From her side, it looks like exactly what she wants to see. The turn brings the ace, finally giving Johanna top pair on top of her draw and seemingly flipping the script. She barrels 200,000, and now Negreanu springs the trap, check raising to 500,000. That raise is polar, strong value, or big bluffs, and against most players, ace-queen with a strong draw feels too good to fold.
500. 3 more.
Negreanu's line almost never contains bluffs here. He has been slow playing on an ultra-wet flop, and the ace is a perfect card for him to attack.
I'm all in.
I call.
An all-in and a call.
I have it. She has a flush draw too?
4 or 5 of hearts for
8 of hearts for her. Sick hand, huh?
That doesn't help her.
That was very unlucky.
Wow, what a hand.
Yeah.
Tony G is looking down on ace-jack offsuit. Pre-flop. This is one of those spots where the seeds of disaster get planted before anyone sees a board. Tony G opens the pot with ace-jack offsuit, exactly the kind of hand he is happy to lean on the table with. He is there to apply pressure, not to wait around for premiums. Seaver calls with king-deuce of hearts, a loose but very on-brand suited peel against Tony's wide-opening range. He is looking to tangle, take flops, and make Tony play post-flop. With these two,
Too easy.
this is still completely standard deep stack poker, but you can already feel the hand turning into a little ego test between two players who love putting each other in tough spots. The texture instantly turns the hand into a clash of extremes. Tony has the nut flush draw with ace-jack, plus a gut shot to the 10 and 2 overcards to Seaver's weaker 1-pair holdings. Seaver, meanwhile, has quietly flopped top and bottom 2-pair on a monotone board with no club in his hand. It is a dream and a nightmare at the same time, massively ahead of all the bear club draws and random kings, but stone dead if anyone already has a made flush.
I'm all in.
Scott's all in. Tony calls.
Run it once again, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has 2 pair. He has the straight. The straight for sure. Tony, you have a straight.
No.
You have a straight.
This is, again, a too many outs syndrome. I wish he just had ace-jack no club, then I'd be in trouble. Ace-jack with a club, though? Too many outs.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
Jack on the turn.
Okay, now it could be an
Outs.
ace, jack, 10.
Like I said, this is way too many outs syndrome. Way too many outs.
The river. A brick.
Unreal.
Well done.
You never win any hands.
No.
Crazy.
That's it.
Sorry, Tony.
Tony G is looking down on pocket sixes.
Liberal rules for straddling.
What are the rules?
Any position, any amount you like.
Whatever you want, you can just put 10,000.
People have, 100,000 I've seen.
Wow.
Straddle.
All the
You want a
time.
$100,000 straddle?
$100,000 straddle.
All
And
the time.
If the
It'd be
guy
kind of hard to fold if you
like,
bought him
really,
for 150.
Pre-flop, this is classic. Everybody's got a story set up in a 3-bet pot. Negreanu opens light from early position with 7-5 offsuit, doing what he does best, putting chips in and trusting his post-flop edge. Corkins wakes up with ace-king and makes it 10K, completely standard. He is isolating the opener, expecting to play a big pot heads up with the range and skill advantage. Then Tony G in the blinds looks down at pocket sixes and just flats, which is already interesting. Sixes hate getting 4-bet and blown off their equity, but they love seeing 3-way flops with deep stacks. When Negreanu completes, you end up with a bloated 3-bet pot where Corkins has the range advantage.
Join the party.
It's just 2 chips.
Tony has the sneaky set potential, and Negreanu is along for the ride with a hand that will usually have to give up. The flop comes about as good as it gets for Tony. Corkins smashes the board in the obvious way with top pair, top kicker, but Tony absolutely buries it underneath with bottom set. Negreanu's 7-5 connects only with the 6, giving him some weak backdoor dreams, but he is already in trouble if money goes in.
Put a little pressure on.
maximum pot.
At least you're not in. That means I got a chance or a fold. It's when they move straight in, then you it.
Hoyt is in a wicked spot.
Right, I'm drawing live no matter what. Believe me, whatever you do, I'm alive in this hand. It's not like I'm putting my money in cold dead, you know?
What would you do in this situation? You have Tony G blabbering in your face while you have top pair. Let me know in the comments.
You call 10,000 cold, huh? All right, I'm all in.
Corkin shoves and Tony calls.
Drawing real life.
Hoyt sees how thin he's drawing.
Wow.
How many times would you like to run it?
I think I got to run it, what, 40 times to get one?
40 times to win one.
You want to run it twice? That one, that means... Okay. We'll run it
Twice is good.
2 times.
4 spades on the turn.
I make the
So
nuts.
Tony's won half the pot.
Wow.
Yeah, the absolute nuts.
All right, let's put something out there to give us a bit of hope. Okay? Dealer, I want a big card, a huge card.
It's a queen.
There it is.
Now he needs a tan.
The river. It's a king.
How close was that?
Okay, guys.
Really?
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on pocket aces. Pre-flop, this is the classic trap where one player thinks he is peeling light and instead steps right into a vice. Negreanu raises to 450,000. It is a chunky open, and that alone should already scream strength in this spot. George defends with Queen 10 suited. On paper, it is not insane. He has position, a hand that can flop top pair or strong draws, and he probably assumes Negreanu is opening wide. The flop comes 10-3 king with 2 clubs. From George's seat, this is the kind of board that looks playable but is silently dangerous. He has middle pair with queen kicker against a normal open that could be a standard continue, especially in position. Negreanu fires 400,000. That sizing is telling. It is not a tiny range bet. It is a big, old school, I have it continuation. With aces, he is not afraid of building a pot. The turn is the 7 of spades. Negreanu's strong hands are still strong. Kings, aces, ace-king, maybe king-queen all love this card. Very few of Negreanu's bluffs improve in a meaningful way. When Negreanu now moves all in, he is doing exactly what great players do with overpairs in these structures. Shove before the river kills action. He knows that if he just bets small and gets called, any club, queen, jack, or scary river freezes him and lets George realize all of his equity for cheap. By jamming turn into a pot that is already inflated, he puts tremendous pressure on all the middling hands that called flop.
He folds.
I had you beat. Good cards.
I'm happy with my fold.
Yeah.
It was hard though.
The pot was good. I'm like, I'll take it, but if you call, you call. You have to get there.
Did you have it pre-flop or you hit the king?
I had both. I had what you're supposed to have there. A pair of aces I had. Aces were good, right?
Now let's see how Negreanu pushes his luck to the limit on the very next hand.
All in.
Call. All in?
Huh?
Call.
Oh, we got one. I'm happy with my hand. I had suited, I had a king. A lot going on there. You move in, I call this time anyway. I was just saying, screw it. Okay, we need a hat.
At least 1 heart on the flop would be good. For Daniel. George needs the best hand to hold up to survive. The flop has a 5 and a 10 on it.
Oh, we got pairs, he's got pairs, we all got pairs. We all got 3 hearts, 3 diamonds. Pretty close race. 50-50.
Not sure the math there works, but you gotta believe it first, and Daniel really believes it. The turn card is the 3 of diamonds.
That didn't help me at all. Quite the opposite, frankly.
5 of spades!
Oh!
Daniel wins! That was lucky.
I just wanted clear that I clearly outplayed you in our all-in pots. Obviously.
Kid Poker is in the final.
All right. Sorry, bro. That was ugly.
Daniel Negreanu is holding on Queen 10 suited. Pre-flop, this looks completely standard on the surface, but the seeds of the later pain are already there. Negreanu opens Queen 10 suited from early, the kind of hand he loves, connected, plays well, multi-way, and can make disguised big hands. Dimjan flatting in position keeps his entire range wide, medium pairs, suited broadways, suited connectors, some traps. Then the big blind comes along as well. What that means strategically is simple. By the time they see a flop, there are 3 ranges involved, and Negreanu is the only one who has really capped nothing. He is the pre-flop aggressor. He has all the big pairs. He has the strongest broadways. The flop comes down absolutely dreamlike for Negreanu. 10 Jack Queen. Top 2 pair, a board that slams his perceived range as the raiser. But it is also an insanely dangerous texture. Every random hand with an open-ender or a gut shot suddenly has a reason to stay. When Jacobsen checks, Negreanu does exactly what you expect from someone who just smashed this board and knows he smashes it range-wise too. He bets 22,000. The sizing is important. It is not tiny stab sizing. It is a "this pot is about to get big" sizing. Demjan just calls. That call is the first warning sign. He is not afraid of the story Negreanu is telling. The turn bricks off with the 3 of spades. From Negreanu's point of view, that is one of the safest cards in the deck. It does not complete any obvious draw. It does not pair the board. It does not change who is supposed to own this texture. So he does what good players do when nothing changes, and they already had a huge value hand. He keeps telling the same story and increases the pressure, betting 55,000. This is Negreanu effectively saying, if you were floating or gambling with some weak draw on the flop, this is your exit. If you continue now, you are representing something serious. The river brings the deuce of clubs, another nothing card in terms of raw texture. From Negreanu's seat, it is almost the perfect river. Straights are still the same straights, sets are still the same sets, and there are no obvious busted draws that suddenly got there. He still has top 2 pair on a board where he is supposed to have all the strong top-end value, so he fires again, 90,000 this time.
Raise. I had a feeling you were going to do that on the turn. You waited. It was smart. You got me to bet one more time.
Daniel loves calling like Miley Cyrus loves a big foam finger, but I don't think even he can figure out a way to talk himself into this one.
8-9 or something? Doesn't matter.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, ace king. 2 pair. Queen 10. Good hand. 9,000.
Now let's see if Demjan will be able to return the favor and soul read him. This is Negreanu doing what Negreanu does. He looks down at pocket 8s and does not overcomplicate it. He raises to 9,000, the classic, let's thin the field and play a pot in position or heads up. Demjan on the button chooses the flat. That call is him saying, I want to see 3 cards against the pro and keep my range wide. The flop is one of those dream spots for Negreanu. He flops set on a board that absolutely slams his perceived range. When he continues for 16,000, the bet is doing a lot of work. It looks like a standard continuation bet with ace-king, king-queen, or even pure spade draws, so it keeps Jacobsen's floats and Demjan's entire Broadway region interested. This is where Negreanu turns the screws. He fires 45,000 into a pot that has already grown large, and that sizing is intentional. It says, I still like my story, and if you were floating me with 1 pair or a draw, the price just went up. From his seat, there is no reason to slow down. Worse kings will still call. Combo draws will convince themselves they are priced in, and any hand like queens or jacks is hating life, but may still pay.
Ace jack.
Oh, sure, ain't nothing. I have 3 8s. I want you to go, ugh. All in.
The queen, the straight.
Tony G is looking down on 10-9 offsuit.
Here we go, Phil. Did you raise him?
Pre-flop is Tony G doing exactly what Tony loves to do, take a hand that plays huge on connected boards and drag Hellmuth into a pot.
Back to the same tricks.
I'm not gonna let you two just enjoy
Back to
the
the
pan.
same old, same old.
I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a triangle.
Stuck in the middle.
Hellmuth opens King-Jack, a very Hellmuth hand, strong enough to raise, not quite strong enough to want a giant pre-flop war. Tony flats with 10-9 suited, the classic, let's see a flop and torture you later. The flop comes 8, Queen-Jack, and it is a total car crash in slow motion. For Tony G, it is perfect. 10-9 gives him the nut straight immediately.
We're gonna draw. Draw your gun.
I got a big draw, Tony. What do you want me to do?
The turn brings the 5 of diamonds, which looks like a total brick. Nothing about this card should scare off a player who was happy on the flop. Tony now leans on the situation. The sizing tells the full story. Into a pot that was already inflated, this is not a little probe, it is a serious ask. With the nuts, Tony wants value from exactly what Hellmuth has, strong one-pair hands and pair-plus draws that hate folding versus him. Hellmuth thinks it through and calls again.
Where's the big draw now? Oh, where's the big draw? You didn't want to check to you or what?
Well, I thought maybe you would, yeah.
Yeah.
Hellmuth is now facing the most brutal question. Do you really think I am the kind of guy who triple barrels this size with nothing on this board after you called twice? Or, if Tony ever gives up his bluffs on earlier streets, which he often does when met with resistance, then this river bet becomes heavily weighted toward value. Hellmuth tanks and convinces himself that against Tony G specifically, people just do not always have it.
All right, I call.
He makes the call.
There you go. Welcome to the game.
Ouch.
Just flops the nuts just off the bat.
Welcome to the game. You've been doing a lot of talking. Now show me your bullets. Show me what you brought to the game. Where's your money? Don't tell me you're going to play with that crap. You're not going to embarrass yourself here, are you? Yet again. Phil, produce.
Tony G is holding 5-4 offsuit. Pre-flop. Tony G opens to 1,000. Hellmuth bumps it to 2,000. That re-raise looks small, almost like a keep-it-friendly sizing, but it is actually very revealing. With a hand that plays great post-flop and dominates Tony's usual junk, Hellmuth chooses control over punishment. He does not go big and try to blow Tony out. He invites him in.
Things can get nasty at the end, right? The river was wild.
Confident that if they see a flop, he will outplay him. Tony checks, which is standard with his marginal pair and draw potential. But Hellmuth checks back as well. That check from a 3-better on this texture is all about pot control and deception. In Hellmuth's head, his hand is good often enough that he wants to see turns and rivers without inflating variance. From Tony's perspective, this is the perfect moment to take the lead. He bets 4,000. It looks like a probe from a weak 9 or a semi-bluff, but underneath it is pure value, designed to keep Hellmuth's entire range in.
Call.
That's 10 grand. Phil calls,
call.
sees the bad news.
He has a full house.
You didn't raise?
At least maybe we'll get the blow up we're all waiting for.
I know you got a flush.
The 9. This guy's raising.
He's got a
raising.
9. You drew.
Explosion's about to happen.
Bring the trike.
Bottom pair against top pair, where he's going to pay me off another 7,000, 8,000. But no, he fills up and wins 14 for me.
You're a disgrace to the game.
Where do you come up with that?
I'll tell you, can I tell you one thing, Tony? Can I tell you one thing? I wish that I weren't a bad loser sometimes, but it's 10 times as bad to be a bad winner. And you're a bad winner, my friend.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on Jack 10 suited.
That just makes me so sick to my stomach. I mean, whether I'm right or wrong, it just makes me sick that...
Pre-flop this looks innocent, but the roles at the table are already defined. Mercier is the young, aggressive straddler. Hellmuth is the self-appointed sheriff who hates getting pushed around. Hellmuth just limps with Jack 10 suited, a hand that could easily open or raise, but that he chooses to park in the weeds. The flop comes 4-5 king, 2 diamonds. It is a board that hits the straddler way more than the limper. Mercier has actually connected, bottom pair plus a gut shot, with some backdoor diamond possibilities. Hellmuth has pure air. When Hellmuth checks, Mercier does exactly what you expect a good aggressive player to do. He fires 1,200 into the dead money. Small sizing, classic range bet saying, I have all the kings, 5s, and random pairs here, and you probably don't. Hellmuth's response is immediate and loud. He snap raises to 4,000. That raise is not really about his cards. It is about yanking the pot away from the kid who just stabbed at it. The turn brings the ace of clubs and dramatically shifts the texture without actually improving either hand in a made hand sense. Mercier's 4 is still just a small pair, but now Hellmuth picks up a legitimate draw. After representing strength on the flop, Hellmuth has found some real backup equity. He leans into the story and bets 8,000. That sizing is telling. It is not all in pressure. It is a keep calling if you dare. The river is the 6 of hearts, a complete brick for Hellmuth. This is the moment where a lot of players light money on fire by following through just because they have to tell the story. Hellmuth does something quietly smart. He gives up. He checks and admits that his bluff has run out of road.
What the is going on here? The bad player should call with bottom pair. I call 9,000 more with Jack 10 or whatever the hell he had. I just spike a jack like it's nothing.
Like 2 jacks.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, Donnie. Well done. That's fine. You made a good call. I just want to play another 5-6 hours and see how many times you lose with hands like that. Jason, I think, is an excellent player.
He just said he was a bad player.
I'm the
Right
bad
after the
player,
hand, you go, these
apparently.
bad players. And he's the one who made these bad players calling me with bottom pair. See, that's the thing. You insult him because you're losing and feel like it's
I
okay.
thought you hit the 6. I was kind of upset. That's
You
why
thought he hit the 6?
I made a disgusting check on
You
the
went
river.
check.
God, I just lost.
Put him on 6-7.
6 game.
Tony G is looking down on 7-5 offsuit. This pre-flop is one of those spots where history sets the trap before the cards even hit the felt. Tony G opens the button with 7-5 offsuit, which is basically him saying, "I'm raising my seat, not my hand." He knows the table. He knows Negreanu will defend wide from the big blind.
I'm going to raise you.
And does exactly what a strong thinking player does versus a loose button steal. He pushes back. The re-raise to 4,400 is not just value, it is a message.
I'm going to raise the pot.
Oh, this is the type of game it is, huh?
You have no idea. It's been
Every hand?
every hand. From the very first hand, too.
It's been vicious.
32 more?
To 4,400.
That's the first time I've re-raised from the big blind.
Tony calls.
You must have a really good hand.
It's true. Re-raised him from the big blind when he raised on the button? Very first time.
The flop comes king, 9, 8, and for Negreanu, this is about as good as it gets without actually making a hand.
You must have a really good hand.
Not bad.
Did you qualify?
I qualified.
Qualified.
Queen 10 suited here is a dream semi-bluff. Range-wise, it smashes him as the 3-better.
Take it.
He has all the big broadways, all the strong kings, all the overpairs. Tony, on the other hand, is sitting there with 7 high and a handful of backdoors. The turn brings the ace, and that card completely rewrites the script in a very subtle way. For Negreanu, range-wise, it is an absolute slam-dunk card to barrel. The ace belongs to the pre-flop 3-better. This is where Tony's line becomes dangerous. With 7-5, he has almost nothing, some tiny backdoor straight ideas, but nothing you want to stack off with. Yet he raises to 30,000. That raise is not about his hand. It is about everything he knows about Negreanu's range and the situation.
Guess what I got?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I got. You're gonna have to take it,
Maybe
sir.
a draw.
Daniel folds.
Maniac play pays off again.
Queen 10 of spades I had.
Just threw 20 in, hoping for the best. You the Mr. Robo, right? You're the one.
I'm happy to be at this table. Chips are fine.
Friendlies, we're very liberal.
Bet 10,000, get raised. Insta-muck. My type of game.
Phil Ivey is looking down on 5 deuce suited. Pre-flop, this is a classic clash of ranges rather than hands. Sands opens from early position with ace-5 of hearts, a hand that plays beautifully deep. It cracks big aces, flops disguise 2-pair, and has wheel potential. Ivy defends the big blind with 5-2 of clubs, which looks like garbage, but actually has some sneaky properties here. Getting a good price, he is happy to come along wide and try to make something strange on a board that is supposed to smash the razor. The flop comes Dreamland for Sands and a very awkward heaven for Ivy. Sands has top and bottom pair on a semi-wet texture, the exact sort of board his early position range is supposed to own. Ivy, meanwhile, connects harder than he deserves, middle pair plus a wheel draw. When Ivy checks and Sands fires 64,000, it is a completely standard value bet. He wants calls from ace-x, pocket pairs, and all the diamond draws. Ivy's call is where the hand starts to get interesting. He is never loving life against an EPC bet on this board, but he has real equity, decent implied odds if a 4 peels, and a range that is supposed to defend some middling pairs and draws. The turn brings the 6 of clubs, which quietly changes a lot. The obvious draw's all brick, but Ivy now picks up extra equity and board leverage. His 5-2 becomes a pair plus open-ender on a runout that is getting very hard for Sands to read cleanly in real time. When Ivy checks again and Sands bets 177,000, Sands is still telling a simple story. I had a big hand on the flop, and I still do. He wants to keep extracting from worse aces, stubborn fives, and the various draws that refuse to fold. From Ivy's seat, though, this second barrel is the signal that it is now or never. If he just calls again, he is going to face a brutal river decision on a pot that is already bloated. Instead, he turns his hand into a pressure tool and rips in a massive check raise to 527,000. That raise is doing two things at once. First, it leverages Ivy's range advantage on this texture. From Sands' perspective, the big blind can absolutely have sets, weird two pairs like 6-5 or even 4-2 for the pure nuts. Second, it maximizes the value of Ivy's equity when called. He is not bluffing with air. If Sands stands his ground, Ivy still has a real shot to improve.
All in. Guess you could have that maybe. And I'm not in that bad shape, but no way you have that. This one's funny. This one is funny.
Phil Ivy's been spending too much time with Daniel Negreanu.
Okay. All right, okay, I'll call.
Ivy's gonna go for it. Gulp. Fives and deuces no good. He needs a club or a 4 on the river.
So stupid I am.
Now he's been spending too much time with Yoda. Ivy does have 12 outs, which means he's gonna hit a little more than 1 out of every 4 times. It's a 6 on the river. We lose Phil Ivy.
Yeah, Phil. Thanks.
This time the Doc does take out the IV. He's just won the biggest pot of the tournament so far. He now has over...
Daniel Negreanu is holding 8-6 suited. Pre-flop, this is exactly the kind of button versus early dynamic where small mistakes get magnified. Gruesome opens 5100 from early position, a completely standard raise that projects strength and hits a lot of high card boards. Negreanu just flats on the button with one of his trademark speculative holdings. It is the kind of hand that rarely dominates anything but quietly crashes big pots whenever it actually connects. The flop is a board that gives each player just enough to keep going. Gruesome has 2 overcards and range advantage, so his 8,000 continuation bet is automatic. He is repping all the big queens, overpairs, and strong draws that fit his open. Negreanu, on the other hand, has exactly what he was hoping for, middle pair with a decent kicker in position. Folding second pair here would be way too tight. Raising would turn his hand into a bluff, so he does what he does best and turns it into a bluff catcher, flatting and forcing Gruesome to keep telling the story. The turn brings the 2 of hearts, and this is where the hand really sharpens. The card is a brick for Negreanu, but it quietly upgrades Gruesome bluff. He can now pretend he picked up a backdoor heart draw to go with his overcards, which makes barreling much more attractive. His 18,000 second shell is not just aggression for aggression's sake.
How much is that?
He is attacking all Negreanu's 1 pair, I'll call once and see, hands and putting pressure on exactly the kind of 8x that Negreanu happens to hold. Negreanu thinks it through and again chooses the stubborn line. His pair of 8s is still ahead of all the floats and semi-bluffs, and with position he is happy to keep Gruesome's range wide and confused. Then the river drops the ace, and that single card flips the script. All the way through the hand, Gruesome has been representing big aces and queens. Now he actually gets there.
Make sure it's not there. Nope, it's not there.
Pretty easy fold at this point. Daniel's only beating complete air. He passes.
Hearts, I guess.
What's that?
Phil Ivy is looking down on ace-9 offsuit. Pre-flop. This is Ivy doing something he has done his whole career, isolating the big blind and putting him in a kicker cage before the flop even comes. He opens with ace-9 offsuit, a classic sit-between trash and premium, hand that plays very well when you are better than your opponent post-flop. Quast defends ace-5 suited, and that call already sketches the outlines of his problem. He is never folding an ace this deep in the big blind getting a price, but his kicker is trash against a competent early position raiser. He is walking into a pot where every time he hits an ace, he has to live with the fear that the other guy's kicker will be better. The flop comes low and dry. From Quas's point of view, this is one of those, I have nothing, but I am probably still ahead sometimes. He has ace high with a straight possibility, but no real pair, no showdown value yet. He checks, and Ivy fires 80,000 into a little over 100. That sizing is interesting. It is not a tiny range c-bet. It is a solid, confident stab that says, I expect you to fold a lot. With ace-9, Ivy is turning the best ace-high into a value protection bet. He is targeting exactly this type of thing. Random overcards, weak-suited aces, and small pairs that do not want to face big pressure. Quas's call keeps things honest. He is not believing that this board always belongs to the raiser, and he knows Ivy can barrel. The river ace is the entire hand. It looks like a blank for the story, but it turns everything upside down. Both players suddenly smash top pair, and now that kicker problem Quas created pre-flop shows up in bright neon lights. Ivy reads that hesitation and fires 150,000. Quas goes into the tank and eventually pays it off. Tony G is looking down at Jack 10 offsuit.
You're getting some good counseling, man. Your counseling's
You don't
working.
think I can make fun of myself a little bit? Come on now.
You're discovering yourself, but that's good. You're getting self-aware now.
All right, I need to,
You're working out. You might not be as good at poker as you believed, right?
need a limp in.
Pre-flop, this is another spot where everything looks routine on the surface, but the stack-to-pot ratio is already primed for carnage. Brunson opens tens, which is absolutely standard. It is a premium in this lineup and plays very well deep. Tony G flats in position. That is a perfectly reasonable peel against an older, tighter opener.
Just because it's Doyle, I want to play with it.
Especially when he expects to outplay people post-flop.
You've got 100 there, Dal, or what?
It's got 100.
Yeah, maybe this is a good time to squeeze here.
Test it out. Test the waters. Test the waters. I think you're just thinking about calling.
I should squeeze, really.
Squeeze.
I've never seen a guy squeeze after they make the announcement of this would be a good time to squeeze in 10 years of cards at this point. I'm going to do that move someday.
Will you call 8 more?
I'll call 8 more.
If I make the announcement.
Will you call 10 more?
I think we're getting out of hand now. Let's just play the hand. Call the 15 or fold. That's your two options.
No, then what are you talking about?
Raise. Go for it. Make it happen.
Actually, it's three-handed, so you probably shouldn't be killing the...
He started the talking.
You're threatening. Pull the trigger.
Okay, I raised 10,000 more.
Wow, that's a first.
Yeah, that is a first.
Can you raise 10?
Helmuth then wakes up in the blinds and squeezes to 8,400 with ace-5 suited. That is classic Phil. A light but not crazy 3-bet, leveraging his image and trying to isolate Doyle. When Brunson just calls with 10s rather than 4-betting, his hand is a bit under-repped.
As a poker spectator, I'd like to say I like the way this hand is
This is going to be a fun hand. We got a fun hand going on here. A lot of crazy talk.
I just want to be in a pot. I can't say no to this pot.
And Tony comes along closing the action, getting a great price. Three-way, bloated pot, and two of the hands are badly disguised. It is a recipe for someone to get stacked if they connect hard with the board. The flop is about as good as it gets for Tony, and about as awkward as it gets for the other two. Tony has smashed it, flopping trip jacks with a decent kicker in a pot where he is not expected to have many Jack X combos, compared with the pre-flop raiser and the 3-better.
You hit it that good?
Helmuth has completely whiffed and correctly shuts down. Brunson looks at an overpair in a 3-bet pot on a paired, relatively dry board and does the thing 10s want to do most often here. He continuation bets 18,000. From his perspective, he is targeting exactly the kind of hands Tony and Phil can have a ton of.
Now you can move in. Be the hero. I'm all in, whatever comes.
You're all in now?
Yeah, I'm all in.
He's all in the dark.
Tony's check shove over the top is then a very clean piece of value and protection combined. With trips in a pot that already has serious money in the middle, he wants to deny equity from overcards and backdoor draws and, crucially, get paid by exactly the kind of pair Doyle is holding.
Come what may. That's commitment to the game.
Folding 10s here versus Tony's range would be extremely tight because Tony can absolutely show up with lower pocket pair, random bluffs, and some floats turning his hand into a semi-bluff.
I love the game so much. Absolutely love it.
I guess you got me covered, huh?
Probably not.
So you just came in and hit a jack, right? Instead of the 2-8 you got.
When he beat.
What do you got, Doyle? 2 10s?
You got it.
You got 2 10s?
Yeah.
Just because Tony's right doesn't mean you are, Doyle.
I just don't believe you got it, buddy.
There he goes.
2 10s is very bad.
Bad.
You're drawing dead to 2 10s.
Oh, what a disgusting feeling.
And you,
Reload.
how sick is that?
And Tony G will double up.
How did, like, I guessed his hand too? Because he said 2 8s, I guess. No, you've got some chips.
That was a good read.
He's got like 70. How much you got?
I lost. No, I bluffed Phil. It didn't work. At least he didn't have aces, right? I'm gonna clean you out. I'm gonna clean you out, baby. I'm gonna do it to you. I'm gonna wipe you out.
Keep sticking 8,400 in with Jack 10 offsuit when you're.
I will do it on 100 stack. When it's 8.4% of your stack, it's not even like 6%.
I would have busted you. Don't worry.
You would have busted me. You feel good. I love you. You're the best, Phil.
You guys are the
I have to
best.
clean you out every time I play with you. I love it. Oh, I'm gonna put you so badly.
Tony G is looking down at 6-5 offsuit, pre-flop. This is one of those quiet little heads-up pots where the cards almost don't matter as much as the story each player is trying to tell. Hellmuth opens Jack 10 offsuit, which is fine as a standard raise with a playable Broadway hand. Tony G flats kind of loose, low-connected hand he loves to take in position. Against Phil, Tony knows he can realize a lot of equity post-flop just by applying pressure.
Good luck to him, right? If he's got it.
So calling and keeping the pot small is exactly on brand.
I just want to play with it. Stimulating.
The flop comes, and it is a board that massively favors the pre-flop raiser's range, but not Phil's actual hand. With Jack 10, he has nothing but some backdoor possibilities. When he checks, he basically concedes the initiative, and Tony does exactly what he is supposed to do, bet 4,000 with his 6-5. He has a bit of straight drawer equity and a very credible story. His range is full of ace-x and strong draws that would all see bet here. The turn is a brick in terms of top pair, but it improves Tony slightly with a double gut shot and gives the board more low, connected texture. Phil checks again, and Tony fires 11,000, turning up the pressure.
I'm committed to the pot, Phil. Are you committed?
From Tony's side, this is a very good second barrel. He can fold out exactly the kind of marginal, showdown-less hands Phil is clinging to.
I believe you.
You want to see one card?
I do.
One card, it's special. You can choose one, hang on.
Which one? Which one, Phil?
Just
I don't want to see this one.
Fair enough. That was the small one, unfortunately. Yeah. I had a good hand, a legitimate hand, and I was committed to the pot, which I declared.
I should have raised you.
We should have raised, that's right, but you didn't have the heart and commitment.
Oh, don't worry, I'm steamed right now. I want to
I
play
know
pots
you're
against
steamed.
you. Right now, I want you
I
in
know
every
that.
pot I'm in.
But 11,000 was too rich for you.
No, I almost raised it. I
I
thought
know you
about
did.
it.
I know you did. You just didn't have the heart and
I had
commitment.
nothing. I mean, I couldn't beat a
I had,
pair.
I had the ace-5, so you would have got me off.
I don't think so.
Tony G is looking down on Queen 3 suited. Pre-flop. This is Tony G doing what he does best, setting the tone of the table. He opens the action with a hand that is nowhere near premium, but plays reasonably when he can take pots away with pressure and occasionally hit disguised flushes. Hellmuth just calls with pocket tens, which already starts to define ranges. When Phil flats instead of 3-betting, he keeps in all the weaker hands he hopes to control post-flop, but he also invites the rest of the table to join. Then Brunson in the big blind completes with Jack 10, closing the action and taking a very fair price with a connected, Broadway adjacent hand. The flop comes and it poses more questions than it gives answers. And instantly everyone has something to think about. Tony, as the pre-flop raiser, continues for 5,000. From his point of view, this board is ideal for a continuation bet. It connects with his suited open by giving him a queen-high flush draw. It is hard for anyone to have a monster aside from sets or Jack X, and he can represent overpairs that he does not actually hold. Brunson's raise to 25,000 is where the hand sharpens. With Jack 10, he has top pair with a solid kicker and wants to deny cheap cards to exactly the kind of holdings that are out there, overcards with diamonds, smaller pairs with diamonds, and straight draws. By raising, He charges all of those while still expecting calls from weaker jacks and perhaps stubborn overpairs that do not believe him.
Is this for real? Are they recording this? I mean,
Are you recording this?
is this for real? I mean, Nice, nice, nice. It's just so much fun here. I mean,
If it's not your first time here, please make sure to like and subscribe.
All in.
And if it's your first video ever, drop by in the comments and say hi. I will reply to everyone. Let's keep going, because the pots get bigger and the reactions get wilder.
Seen that show before.
And it works. Quick fold from Doyle.
Cool. I wanted to fill in, so I wanted to give you the opportunity to participate. But you did. That's all.
don't worry, Tony. I just had pocket tens. That's all. I just had a bad feeling you had the queens.
You would win.
Yeah. I had a bad feeling you had two queens before the flop, because every time I flop top pair, you have something. Every time I have a big hand, you have something. So,
Just wanted to give you a go, a ride.
Vanessa Selbst is holding pocket fours. Pre-flop, this is short stack versus big stack brinkmanship at its finest. Vanessa opens to 17,000, a perfectly standard raise from early position at this stage. Small pairs love to see flops, and they do not mind getting called, but they really dislike facing big 3-bets from aggressive players behind. McPhee on the button does exactly that, bumping it to 37,000 with ace-9, a classic light 3-bet candidate. He has position, blockers to the big pairs, and enough equity to continue if called. So far, it is a routine late-stage tournament hand, the kind you see dozens of times, slightly loose open, ambitious 3-bet, everyone testing each other's resolve. The hand turns serious when Vanessa answers with a 4-bet to 79,000. With fours, she is almost never doing this purely for value.
How much do you have left?
Folding every time here makes his 3 bets too transparent, so he reaches for the next gear and clicks it back to 131,000. That small 5-bet is a statement. He is saying that Vanessa either gives up now or risks her entire stack. Vanessa's response is immediate and decisive,
I'm all in.
turning pocket fours into a pure test of courage.
Still probably have the best hand.
Strategically, this shove leverages everything in her favor, the pay jump pressure, and McPhee's capped 5-bet sizing. With this jam, she represents exactly the hands that crush ace-9.
Such a sick spot. It's almost enough out there for me to just call it off. And I think I dominate some of your range sometimes. And then I'm crushed if it's just value. I think I have to do it. Title defense. 2 years later, I call.
OMG, he calls!
You have ace-jack?
No,
I have a pair.
I have ace-9.
Correct reaction. You're complicit in this too, Selbsty.
What just happened?
Huh? Think that's a snap?
Snap fold, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
The flop has an ace on it!
Sick race.
Nice time.
And another ace for good measure.
Worst play I've ever seen. What? He goes after me every time. I have no idea why. He's a friend of mine. You put that on TV. It's the worst play ever. I don't know why friends going after me, but he does it every single tournament.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on ace-9 offsuit.
Doing an add-on, if no one objects.
No, of course.
I don't object.
Add on for as much as you like. Up to 500,000.
Pre-flop. This is a perfect example of how one aggressive decision can pull 3 other players into a very volatile pot. Brunson opens with 6-5 suited, a classic loose raise that keeps the game flowing and his range wide.
I call.
Hellmuth wakes up with ace-9 offsuit and chooses a big 3-bet to 12,600. That sizing is doing a lot of work. He wants to isolate the opener, pick up the dead money, and use position plus skill edge rather than pure cards. The problem is the hand itself. Ace-9 offsuit looks pretty, but in a re-raised pot, it is in terrible shape against any calling range that includes better aces, big pairs, and suited Broadway.
I raised the pot.
When Wiggins looks down at pocket kings behind all of this, he is in a dream spot and decides just to call. That flat call is very tempting. He keeps all the weaker hands in, disguises his strength, and gives himself a chance to win a huge pot without ever having to face a 4-bet, but it also invites the players behind to come along with speculative holdings.
12-6.
Yep.
Call.
We have some cannon action over here.
And Brunson, getting an excellent price in closing the action, comes along as well.
I know Tony's going to call it, so I might as well too.
Yeah. I love these big pots.
What a sick hand this is. 4 ways.
I'm landing on anyway next pot, so it's like a free roll for me.
By the time the dealer spreads the flop, Hellmuth's isolation 3-bet has turned into a 4-way pot where his dominated ace-9 has to navigate 2 deep stacks and one of the strongest starting hands in poker. The flop comes 9-10-9, and the board instantly rewrites everyone's expectations.
That flop looks like you, doesn't it?
No, Phil, I look like me.
17,000.
Phil bets 17,000.
If you look like me, why you bet so much?
Hellmuth, who started the hand with the most questionable value hand, suddenly finds himself holding trips with top kicker. From his point of view, this is about as good as it gets. He blocks full houses with his ace-9, beats every overpair, and is way ahead of any 10x that peeled pre-flop.
36,000. I love you, Ernest.
I'll try it again. Well, I just can't.
Doyle folds.
I was gonna race. I'm so sick.
Tony G's out.
Wow.
This is almost certainly disaster for our loose cannon.
200,000.
What are you going to do if I move in? You going to call?
Phil, of course I had no choice but to, my brother.
You got aces or kings or something or what?
Man, if I had aces or kings, man, I'd be the man right now, wouldn't I?
Well, I don't think I have a choice here. This is so sick. All right, I guess I'm all in.
I call. Kings.
I got 3 9s.
You lying, be kidding me. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
What were you slow rolling him for?
Here, man.
Maybe at 10's full. I mean, he was so happy.
That was so unreal.
That was torture.
I didn't mean to slow roll. Hold on. How many times you want to deal it?
Gimp.
You want to deal it 4 times? No, that's not.
When
a
you
slow
know
roll.
he's gonna call because he says it.
You know,
and
Phil Locke, why don't you just stay out of why don't you stay out of it?
Because I'm right here and I
because
felt bad.
you've been so far out of line to me, and every time we've played, and I'm just sick of it. So why don't you just mind your business?
12,600.
But he's right. It was a pretty sick slow roll.
I'm sorry, because I haven't done anything like that in my whole life.
Were you folding? I can't get away from this. The whole speech. The guy's already in.
He's already got 80% of
We'll
it.
decide.
4 times?
Yeah, it gives you a better chance to
Hey,
win.
Dan sure do. Cool.
A jack of hearts.
Queen. Yeah, queen, king.
The river, an ace of diamonds. Round 1 goes to Hellmuth. The turn, a king.
There we go. Full house. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Get me down.
The river's a 3.
15% dog. Ernest has won the second pot.
So that's cool. I'm feeling good right now. Well,
A 7 of spades.
Everybody's rooting for a spade.
It is a spade.
goddamn
Spade up 2-1.
Hey.
That's loose cannon. He's up 2-1.
Why did you go for 4 times? You went
A queen on the turn.
Jack. There's a jack.
The final river card. It's a king.
That's real. He hit 3 out of 4. He hit 3 out of 4.
That's
with the worst hand. Why is everyone so happy except Phil? That's what I'm talking about. Huh?
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on pocket aces.
Set. We have a straddle.
Okay.
What's this?
This is $28.
$28?
$28.
Pre-flop, this is Negreanu's dream scenario. Pocket aces on a loose table and Viffer in the blinds doing Viffer things.
If you check, I'm going to bet this one. I'm going to Barry G it.
All right. I don't want to check then.
Oh, I'm going to probably raise you.
The flop comes a board that quietly does both players a favor.
That's not even a check. It's like just a waste of space.
Viffer hits bottom pair with backdoor spades, just enough to feel involved, while Negreanu's aces are still comfortably ahead of all the random one pair and draw heavy holdings Viffer can show up with.
How much is that?
54.
That pre-flop 400 is already out there, and now Negreanu bumps it to 5,400, essentially saying, if your dark action meant anything, prove it. The turn brings a real problem card for Negreanu. Viffer now picks up a live flush draw on top of his pair, and the board suddenly connects with a lot of the speculative stuff he can have. Negreanu makes it 12,400, a disciplined value bet that also charges all those new draws. Viffer now springs the real pressure.
Why do you always raise me?
You're not really betting. That's not really a bet.
Bumping it to 41,400. That raise is doing two things. With his actual hand, it is semi-bluffing for maximum equity realization, and in terms of image, it is telling Negreanu, I'm not just clicking buttons, I can absolutely have two pair, a set, or a strong combo draw. Folding aces to this guy on this card feels painful.
Interesting card coming.
And with position and stack behind, Negreanu decides to call and take a river.
Oh my God. What are you doing, Viffer? He's mashing my brain into bits.
Missed spades stay missed. 7 to 8 gets there, but is only one of many possible draws.
Oh boy. I really wish you would have bet like 50 or 60,000. Oh, this is gonna be so pansy-like. I'm the biggest pansy of all time. I'm such a chicken, only because you're so creative and tricky and all this funky stuff. You could actually bet 400, hope I make a legit raise, and then just boom, blow me off the hand. And I'm too scared of that. Just flat out, fear. This is just a fear call.
He calls.
That means this will make the highlight reels.
What do you got?
Nothing, of course.
Oh, good. That's good for me. I almost folded, I swear. I really did.
Have a 3.
I almost folded, I absolutely swear. No, I mean, not on the river, but...
Daniel Negreanu is holding pocket aces, pre-flop.
The vibe of the people?
No, just the way the country's structured because of it's a Commonwealth as well. It's a Commonwealth country.
Okay, like, yeah, in those
It used
regards.
to be a British colony, so the legal system's very similar.
Hashem and Viffer call.
Canada and Australia are very similar.
Very similar.
We have so many things in common.
Both share a mutual love of Paul Hogan and Jim Carrey.
The corruption is very low.
Pre-flop. This is a classic straddle pot goes wrong for the caller setup. 3 players limp into Negreanu's live straddle, and when the action gets back to him, he wakes up with aces. From his point of view, this is perfect. The pot is already juiced, ranges are capped and weak, and he can punish all the limpers in one move. He bumps it to 5,000, which is a big sizing, but exactly what you won with a premium out of the straddle. Fold out the absolute trash, isolate 1 or 2 players, and build a pot where your strong overpair can get paid.
Look at that. We lost Viffer and Tony G.
Hashem peels with pocket 4s, and that call already tells you a lot.
I didn't think we'd get that many out. Thought we'd have a family.
He is not calling to see what happens. With a random hand, small pairs in position against a very aggressive Negreanu are there to try to flop a set or use Negreanu's image against him on low coordinated boards. The flop comes structurally much better for Negreanu than for Hashem. All the overpairs and big Broadway hands live in Negreanu's range. Hashem has a lot more small pairs and suited connectors that either whiff or pick up thin draws. The turn is the 10 of spades, which changes the texture far more for Hashem than for Negreanu. A lot of Negreanu's one-barrel bluffs pick up equity here. Hands like Queen Jack in the front door spade draw is now very real. Instead of double-barreling, though, Negreanu checks. That check is sophisticated. With aces, he does not block any of the flushes, and this card massively improves Hashem's ability to represent something big if more money goes in. Negreanu now slides out 12,500, a river bet that is more about clean value and pressure than thin hope. He knows Hashem's range is capped after the turn check, made up of exactly the sort of mid-pair and showdown-hungry hands that hate facing one more bet.
You're going to be 1-all after this hand? You have to show me if you're bluffing, right?
Hashem folds.
Come on, I showed you.
Showed the ace. One of them.
Card.
That'll do.
That was good?
No, that wasn't good. But...
That was like the same as not showing.
Tony G is looking down on pocket 3s. Pre-flop. This is Tony G doing Tony G things. Reynolds opens with ace-queen, the classic I probably have the best hand raise. Tony wakes up and decides his 3s are not just a set mining hand, they are a leverage hand.
We'll re-raise.
He bumps it to 5,000, not huge, but enough to isolate and make Reynolds play a big pot out of position.
Never been caught this much bluffing in probably, I don't know, 10 years. Like, in the last 2 weeks.
I have to call.
I understand. I want you to call.
It's a gentleman's call.
The flop comes a dream board for Reynolds, and a pretty miserable one for Tony. Top pair top kicker versus a tiny underpair with no club and no real backdoor plan. When Reynolds checks, he caps his range just enough for Tony to feel obligated to keep telling the story.
Qualifying on this board has to at least be a backdoor draw, so you have like 3-4 plus.
I do have a backdoor.
Backdoor wheel draw.
He calls.
I fold my hand right now.
The turn is the 3 of diamonds, and that single card flips the world upside down. Tony goes from hopelessly behind to stone crushing with bottom set.
Be wary.
The pot is already chunky. Reynolds checks a second time, and Tony now has every incentive to shovel money in while the board still belongs to the top pair player.
If you do call, I will check the river, don't worry. That's like the last bet that I just want to make sure I'm not in really bad shape.
Reynolds again only calls. With top pair, top kicker, and a redraw to improve, he is never folding.
Don't come out betting on me, just check a dark.
I can't do all that dark stuff.
The river brings the 9 of clubs, completing the front door club flush. From Tony's perspective, this is the one card he did not want to see.
That's like a river now that I'm going to struggle to be called on. But I'll still bet 30,000.
When Reynolds checks a third time, Tony has a choice: shut it down and hope to win at showdown, or bet thin, trusting that Reynolds has a one-pair hand too strong to fold, but not strong enough to raise.
Spread the pot, please. Man, Tony, you have to be value betting yourself.
Reynolds
here.
calls.
A set's good. Any set's good.
That's good.
You having a good time, Tony? Things working out for you?
But the river cost me a lot. I mean, I could have made a real pressure cooker there.
Vanessa Russo is looking down on pocket aces. Pre-flop, this looks like a routine spot that secretly sets Vanessa up for maximum pain. She opens to 1,000 with aces, the dream starting hand, and gets flatted by Lex on the button with king 4 of clubs. Suited king in position versus a single raise is completely standard for him. He is not trying to make a monster. He is trying to play pots and lean on people post-flop. What Vanessa sees is a competent pro calling wide on the button. What she does not see is that this exact hand shape is built to crack an overpair on a low-paired board.
Right here? This is the weird spot?
No, the hand, that hand's the weird spot.
The flop comes king 4-3. For ranges, this is a disaster for Vanessa and a celebration for Lex. She still has the overpair advantage in theory, but in practice his flatting range includes all the suited king X and random sets. He decides not to get fancy and leads 2,500, a small, confident attack that says, "I connected." With top and bottom pair, he is miles ahead of all her one-pair hands, yet still vulnerable to overpairs and bigger kings. So betting to define the hand and start building a pot is perfect. The turn brings the queen, which is one of those cards that helps the aggressor's story more than it helps anyone's actual hand. From Vanessa's perspective, it is a brick. From Lex's seat, it is time to defend from the possible king-queen. When he fires 7,700, he is saying, "I still have it, and this board keeps getting better for me." With top and bottom pair, he is now comfortably ahead of every overpair. The only real disasters are sets or slow-played king-queen. Vanessa again just calls. That second call is very telling. She is no longer trying to protect aces. She is explicitly putting Lex on a king or a bluff and deciding to ride the hand down as a bluff catcher. The river pairs the 3, and that seemingly harmless card quietly locks in the cooler. Lex's kings and 4s are now counterfeited. When he bets 18,400 for the third time, the line is completely coherent.
Oh, sick river. Unbelievable.
Pretty good with these rivers with aces.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at ace-9 offsuit. Pre-flop. This is another hand that looks harmless on the surface but quietly lays the trap. Martinez opens with a perfectly reasonable raise with a suited connector that can smash a lot of boards. Hellmuth just flats, which already puts him in an awkward spot.
This is one of the best thing we have. Did you like it?
Minieri peels happy to set mine and play a small pair in position, and Perkins closes the action in the blinds, getting a big price.
Italy was the first place I went where I bought pizza by the kilogram. They weighed it, and they said, "Oh, you have 180, whatever."
The flop looks dry to Hellmuth, but is extremely live for the field. Perkins checks, and Martinez decides to check as well.
This is a full lock check. No, notice
It's two-handed check.
Sometimes he likes this. I like that little.
Controlling the pot with just 2 overcards and an open-ended straight. When the action gets to him, Hellmuth seizes the chance to bluff c-bet and fires 4,200. He has 2 overcards and some straight equity with the 9, and his bet folds out exactly the kind of weak holdings you expect from the blinds and from Minieri. That part works. Minieri and Perkins both get out of the way. Martinez, however, is never folding. His hand has a ton of equity against a single C betting range, and check calling keeps all of Hellmuth's bluffs and thin value hands alive while disguising his own draw. The turn is the disaster card for Hellmuth and the dream card for Martinez.
12,800. I'll take this one now. You fold. I win.
I know.
Against that range, Martinez is thrilled to call. He is ahead of all the bluffs and semi-bluffs, ahead of any 8x that decided to stab, and still has redraws even when Hellmuth happens to have a big hand. The river pairs the board with the 7. Having let Hellmuth drive the action on both flop and turn, Martinez finally leads for 15,500 into a big pot. It is a classic blocker-looking value bet designed to get paid by exactly the kind of overpairs and stubborn one-pair hands Hellmuth likes to hero call with. Hellmuth, though, goes one level too far. With ace-9, he has nothing but ace-high and a missed straight draw.
Raise it. 45,000.
And instead of giving up, he turns it into a bluff, raising to 60,500, trying to represent a monster, 7, or a slow-played set. The problem is that Martinez's line is far more consistent with a strong made hand than with a bluff. Martinez thinks it through.
Please don't have forceful.
What you got?
Huh?
What you got?
If this was your hand, how are you playing it? Comment it below and let's compare different ways to play this out.
You got fourths?
I might have forceful. I might not.
Okay, call. Wow.
Good call. You win.
Oh my God, what is going on? What is going on?
Tilt
oh my
juice!
God.
Get the tilt juice out for everyone. Have
Thank
a
you.
little sip.
Drink it up.
Wow. I can't make that call.
So sick.
No, I can't make that call. No, I can't make that call.
No, he bet 15,000 with the 10.
I blocked back, so you can raise and bluff.
I'm steaming now.
Oh, we got some me and you on
I know.
tilt.
Now I know. I mean, it's so brutal because now I know he's going to lose all his money to one of you guys, and I might go broke in the meantime. He put in 70,000 with top pair. I haven't seen that in a cash game in 2 years.
That was good, though.
He was right, but I haven't seen that in 2 years.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at pocket queens. Pre-flop, this is one of those classic big pair collision spots where the trap is sprung before a flop is even dealt. Hellmuth opens to 800 with completely standard and absolutely expecting to be ahead of most of the table.
I have the button. I shouldn't even look. I should just decide I'm gonna win. Oh, I don't have to decide I'm gonna win. I'm just gonna win.
Lock calls.
I'm just gonna win this one.
Lock flats, which already narrows him to a lot of medium strength hands and some traps.
I bet the pot.
Bill Perkins comes in with the pot.
Little pottage.
Pottage in the cottage.
Pottage.
In the cottage.
That sizing is fine. It isolates the opener, punishes Lock's call, and announces a very strong range.
How much do you have there anyway?
What is it?
Nothing.
You keep saying not much, and this is a 25K chip, kid.
Nothing. I don't know.
Hellmuth looks down at queens, sees Lock's dead money in the middle and the wide public perception that Perkins can be splashy, and decides to...
All right, I raise the pot too.
Hi-ya!
It is a sizing that does two things at once. It tries to shut Leak out, and it tests Perkins to see whether he really has it or is just leaning on position.
What are my choices?
Ship it, call, or fold.
I re-raise the pot.
All right, I'm all in. I'm all in.
It's all in. Okay. Aces or?
I got queens.
I have kings.
Holy cow.
I mean, let's just run it once, I guess.
Go.
I decided in advance I'm only going to run it once today.
You know what? Poker should get back to this one-time thing. It's so manly. It's like the West. We're going to go find gold and go into the West and run it one time.
6, 5, 8, all hearts. Turn. Ace of diamonds. 10 of clubs, and Perkins is going to double up.
Nice hand.
Thank you. Ta-da! I finally won a hand. I had maximum tilt juice. It was like overdrive.
I mean, the businessman, you know, he shows up with kings when he has 43,000. Come on.
You know,
So ridiculous what happens to me in this game.
Tony G is looking down on 7 deuce suited. Pre-flop, this starts as a very simple spot that turns into a textbook example of how board texture can flip the script.
I raise it. Don't worry. It's like a present. It's not even.
Tony G opens with the absolute bottom of the deck. He is trying to win the pot uncontested or set up a bluff later.
It's not even anything.
Come on, Elizabeth. Punish him.
I can guarantee you have
He's
the
not
best
playing.
hand.
It's not even gonna-
Vanessa Russo punished me something sweet. That was the sweetest punishment anyone ever received.
Tony bets 2,000.
On paper, this is a dream board for Houston. She still has a big overpair, and Tony has mostly missed.
Don't get into trouble here. This is dangerous territory.
Houston's raise to 6,000 is logical. She wants value while also denying equity to random overcards. The turn brings the jack of clubs, putting a third club on the board and completing a lot of the hands Houston is worried about. Tony leads 10,000 into a pot of roughly 15,500, and that bet is designed to make Houston's life miserable. The sizing is large enough that if she continues, she is essentially committing to play for a big river pot with a one-pair hand and no club. From her perspective, she raised the flop, got called, and now faces a strong bet on a card that crushes her exact holding. Against Tony's reputation, it might feel like a bluff, but when you replay the hand from his range instead of his actual cards, it is very easy to give him flushes, sets, or queen jack.
It's a sick lay down. But I know I got it. Did you catch a flush?
I'm qualified.
Are you gonna show me?
I show you one card. I can't show both. That would be unfair.
Oh, okay.
She does.
I gotta mix it up, don't I?
I'm gonna hate you, aren't I? Yeah.
I think
You
he just.
bastard.
You bastard!
Why?
I had kings.
That would have been the same situation.
Phil Lack is looking down on 7 deuce offsuit. Rast opens to 1,200 with 6-5 of clubs, a perfectly reasonable loose open. It has great playability, can flop straights, flushes, and sneaky pairs, and it fits his image as someone who is not just sitting around waiting for premiums.
Pot, P-O-T. 44 total.
You know, he's 3-betting. We taught him a new word.
We should never have said it near Phil. Now he's anxious to try out his new toy.
Lack 3 bets to 4,400, representing a very value-heavy range and putting Rast in a slightly uncomfortable spot. Rast decides to peel.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
It is quietly an excellent flop for Rast. Lack, on the other hand, has completely whiffed. 7 deuce connects with nothing but overcards and draws in his imagination. Still, the story he started pre-flop demands a continuation. He fires 6,400, a sizing that keeps his range uncapped and forces Rast to define his hand.
Rasty, crafty Rasty's in there.
Rather than slow down, Lack uses that scare card to apply maximum pressure.
22,400.
Rast quickly folds.
I
like
showed
a
him.
bull you are, Phil Lack. Just push.
I thought I had the best hand.
Not true.
You probably did.
And not true.
Lunkin is looking down on pocket sixes. Pre-flop, this is a classic slow-played trap setting itself up. Mike opens under the gun with king-queen offsuit, which is completely standard at these stack depths. It is a strong Broadway hand, dominates a lot of the calling range, and plays very cleanly post-flop. In the small blind, Lunkin just calls with pocket sixes. That flat looks harmless, but it is already dangerous for Mike. Small and medium pairs love to see flops, especially against an early position raiser whose range is heavy on big cards. O'Dwyer completes in the big blind with king-jack, getting a great price in closing the action. The flop comes paired rainbow. It is one of those rare boards where everyone hits something but one player is hiding a huge hand. Mike absolutely smashes it with trip queens and top kicker. Against 2 blinds who defended and checked to him, his continuation bet for 250,000 is automatic. He gets value from worse queens, pocket pairs, and random floats, while also denying equity from overcards and backdoor draws. What he does not know is that Lunkin has flopped a full house. After checking, Lunkin now springs the first part of the trap and raises to 750,000. That raise is doing two jobs at once. It builds a pot with a monster, and it tells a story of a semi-bluff or a weaker queen, not the very top of range. O'Dwyer correctly gets out of the way with King-Jack, but Mike is in a very tough spot. Folding trip queens with top kicker to a single raise on this texture is almost impossible. The turn is the 8 of spades, a complete brick for the core battle between these two ranges. The paired queen and the 6 still matter most, and any aggressive action now is heavily weighted toward value. Lunkin leads for 1 million into a pot that is already swollen, and that sizing is perfect. It is big enough to put serious pressure on Mike's medium-strength hands.
He shoves.
I call.
Close enough. Mike McDonald drawing thin.
Did he say 6 or sucks?
He needs a king, queen, or 8. He's got 6 outs. The river card. It's the K6!
He should have said queen.
Katz is holding 7-4 suited. Pre-flop, this heads-up pot begins exactly the way high-level players expect it to. Katz opens the small blind with 7-4 suited, raising to 240,000. In a full ring game, that hand is usually folded, but heads up, ranges widen dramatically. The flop comes, and on the surface it feels like Bonomo has won the lottery. He checks to the razor, which fits normal strategy. Katz is expected to continuation bet frequently. Katz, however, has hit something better. With his 7, he has essentially the nuts, unless Bonomo draws another ace, and if by any miracle another 7 comes, it will be the perfect opportunity to trap Bonomo. By checking, Katz keeps his range looking capped and gives Bonomo full freedom to start telling a value story on later streets. The turn is the 5, which changes very little for the core battle between the two ranges. Draws do not really improve in a meaningful way. The board is still defined by the ace and the 7s. Now Bonomo steps out with a bet of 275,000. From his point of view, this is a natural value bet and protection play. Katz just calls. Raising the turn would advertise real strength on a board that is already hard to bluff. The river brings the final 7, putting quads on the board. This is where the hand becomes psychologically difficult for Bonomo. From his seat, he now has a full house, aces full of 7s. In a vacuum that is extremely strong, and it is easy to assume that the opponent rarely shows up with the one remaining 7 that beats it. He bets 400,000 into roughly 1.1 million, a sizing that looks like thin value targeting weaker aces and maybe stubborn pocket pairs. It is not overly large, which helps encourage crying calls and, crucially, can tempt an aggressive player into turning something into a bluff raise. Katz, holding the unique 7 that actually plays, now springs the final part of the trap. From his perspective, the line makes perfect sense. He checked the flop, flatted the turn, and now when the board pairs again, he applies maximum pressure.
Call.
Bonomo calls. And now, the amateur has the advantage in this heads-up battle.
Hellmuth is looking down on pocket kings. Pre-flop, this is a classic clash between raw power and disguised strength. Tony G opens light, Mercier flats on the button with pocket 3s, and Hellmuth in the blind wakes up with kings.
Raise pot.
His raise to 8,600 is a big, old-school squeeze sizing that tries to punish Tony's wide open and isolate one player. When Tony gets out of the way and...
You got a couple of hundred on and I'll play every time pre-flop. Why don't you add some more money on, Phil? I'll give you a flip every time then. See what sort of a genius you are then.
Mercier calls, the dynamic is already set. Phil has defined his range as extremely strong, while Jason has a capped, small pair suited connector, looking range that wants to see flops and play poker post-flop. The flop comes down a nightmare texture for Phil, 9, queen, 3, all clubs. Mercier absolutely smashes it with bottom set on a monotone board, while Phil's overpair is in danger of being dead against any made flush or set. The turn pairs the queen, giving Mercier a full house and freezing a lot of Phil's perceived flushes. Jason checks again, continuing the trap. Now Phil feels safer. Paired boards mean fewer flushes and more chance his overpair is best. So he fires 7,000 as a delayed c-bet that targets exactly hands like tens, jacks, or a bare club. Mercier springs the trap with a raise. That line screams polarized, either a queen, a big flush, or a bluff. With kings and the king of clubs, Phil decides to hang on and call, planning to reevaluate rivers. The river brings a fourth club, completing every possible flush and leaving full houses at the absolute top. From Mercier's seat, this is perfect. The story he has told of a strong queen or big flush is still completely consistent, and his actual hand, a full house, comfortably beats both. He jams, ripping in the rest of his stack.
Come on. Come on, what in the heck is going on here? This is ridiculous. This is what happens to me when I play in these frickin' cash games.
Now you're back to yourself. That's better.
I couldn't hold it in.
I was worried I lost you.
God, this is so brutal.
Jason's betting big here, having a pretty good idea Phil's got a premium hand.
How much is it?
67.9.
Phil folds.
That's a fucking we gotta show.
Phil gets away from it and saves himself almost 70 grand.
Felt like a sick bluff, sir. Sick. Or pocket nines. Either or.
God, that's so brutal. Could have been worse. If I bet the flop, I'd just ship it with him.
Who wants to?
Tony G is looking down on King 4 suited. Pre-flop, this pot starts out as a fairly standard multi-way situation that quietly plants the seeds for a brutal cooler. Harlow opens with ace-9, Antonio peels in position with king-jack, and Tony G overcalls with king 4 suited. From Tony's side, this is loose but very on-brand. He is in there to play pots, especially deep stacked and in position on an amateur opener. Behind them, the blinds come along, and you get exactly the kind of bloated, almost family pot where dominated kings and weird suited holdings collide.
Here he comes. You've been quiet, Phil. Preserving your lead.
Not really. I check.
The flop texture massively favors the kind of speculative, wide calling range Tony brought to the pot. He flops top and bottom 2 pair, while Antonio hits what looks like a very strong top pair with king-jack. After Hellmuth and Harlow check, Antonio's continuation bet for 4,200 into the field is completely logical. He charges draws, gets value from worse kings and tens, and represents the strong pre-flop range he had by flatting the raise in position. Tony's raise to 15,000 is the key inflection point. With 2 pair on a coordinated board, he wants to punish exactly hands like Antonio's, forcing them to pay a premium to continue. The raise size is big enough to thin the field and make life uncomfortable for single-pair hands, but not so huge that it blows them off. Hellmuth and Harlow correctly get out of the way. Antonio, holding top pair with a strong kicker and some backdoor straight equity, is never folding to a single raise and makes the call, likely putting Tony on king 10, a bluff, or some kind of combo draw.
What do you have left?
Antonio checks.
You want exact count?
No, it's fine.
And Tony's decision to check back is deceptively strong. With 2 pair on a now even scarier board, betting again would inflate the pot against a range that has improved to many strong 1 pair plus draw hands. The river ends the hand in one swing. It gives Tony a full house, kings full of 4s, and upgrades Antonio from a strong but beatable top pair to trip kings with a big kicker. After checking twice, Antonio now leads 20,000. This is a classic value bet sizing, targeting exactly the kind of hands he thinks Tony might have slow played, queen 10 or maybe a stubborn king 9 that check turn for pot control. Tony's response is a cold-blooded shove, an enormous raise over the river stab that polarizes his range to absolute monsters or air. In theory, that sizing should make Antonio very suspicious. There are not that many natural bluffs that take this line, and the full house region is heavily concentrated in Tony's loose pre-flop range. But in practice, when you have trip kings with a strong kicker, have seen your opponent check back a dangerous turn, and the pot is already large, folding feels almost impossible.
What the hell did you check the turn with, Tony? All right, call.
Antonio calls all in and sees the bad news.
I see.
Tony wins a pot of 150 grand.
Chips? The worst.
Phil Ivey is looking down on ace-9 offsuit. Pre-flop, this is a very normal configuration for a tough final table. Ivey opens from early position with a hand that is comfortably ahead of the blind's defending range and plays well post-flop in position. In the big blind, Quast defends ace-5 offsuit. He is getting a good price. He closes the action, and against an elite but wide opener like Ivey, ace-x with a wheel card is a perfectly reasonable defend, even though it will be dominated sometimes. The flop comes one of those low, disconnected boards where the pre-flop raiser still has the range advantage, but the big blind has all the weird two-pair and straight combos. Quast checks his overcard plus gut shot, and Ivey fires 80,000. With two overcards to the board, some backdoor possibilities, and a huge image, his continuation bet will fold out a lot of total air and small pocket pairs. Quast's call with ace-5 is very standard. He has ace-high, 4 to a wheel, and he keeps Ivey's range wide. The turn adds more straight possibilities and a second heart, but does not actually improve either hand. Quast checks a second time, and Ivey now taps the table back. That check is important. By declining to barrel, Ivey controls the pot with what is often just ace-high and also keeps his range looking a bit capped. The river ace changes everything. Both players finally make top pair, but Ivey's 9 kicker quietly crushes Quast's 5. Quast checks a third time and Ivey goes for value with 150,000. The story he tells is very believable. Missed spade draws and random floats bluffing, or an ace that played pot control on the turn and now bets for value. Sitting there with ace-5, having seen Ivey check back the previous street, Quast is almost forced to pay it off. Daniel Negreanu is about to play 6-deuce suited. Phil Hellmuth opens to 800 with king-10 offsuit, the kind of loose early raise he uses to test the waters and try to play pots post-flop. Negreanu immediately leans on it, re-raising to 3,600. With 6-2 suited, this is not about raw card strength. It is about punishing Phil's wide open, isolating the weakest range at the table, and taking the betting lead in position.
Who lost the last pot?
Doyle Brunson cold calls with pocket jacks, a classic trap that keeps worse hands in and avoids turning his medium-high pair into a bluff catcher against a 4-bet. Getting the price and curious to navigate post-flop, Phil comes along. That is a very Negreanu result. His pre-flop 3-bet range contains plenty of big queens, overpairs, and high card backdoors, so checking back keeps his range wide and ambiguous while realizing equity with his suited wheel trash. It also invites Phil to fire turns from out of position and forces Doyle to reveal how comfortable he is with jacks on a coordinated board. When Negreanu declines to c-bet, he preserves the option to attack later streets if either opponent betrays weakness with sizing or timing. The turn is the 4 of spades, a deceptively important card. It adds real backdoor flush pressure while also nudging straight grids like 3-6 into view. Phil leads 7,000 into about 19,000, a classic mid-sizing that tries to win the pot before the board becomes scarier. Against Daniel, that size usually reads as 1 pair or air rather than a queen or better that wants protection and volume. Daniel just calls. He is not chasing, he is keeping Phil's bluffs alive, protecting his own strong hands that would play this way, slow-played queens and some spade floats, and setting up maximum leverage on rivers that amp up the story. Doyle, now sandwiched in hating life with jacks, lets it go. The river is the 2 of spades, completing the backdoor spade flush and putting 4 to a wheel in the picture. It is a nightmare card for capped 1-pair holdings. Phil drops a 6,000 block bet, a telltale sizing that asks for a cheap showdown and implicitly admits he does not love his hand. Daniel pounces and raises to 46,000. What does he represent? From Phil's seat, it is coherent for Daniel to have exactly the hands his line preserved, 2 spades that checked flop multi-way, called the turn lead, and now raise for value, or a slow-played queen with a spade that upgrades from bluff catcher to thin value on a bet-blocked river.
Speech time.
It's gotta come.
He might have like 6-9 offsuit. It's Daniel. Good bet.
And Phil lays it down.
Finally got there. Took a while, but
6-9.
I had you.
He nailed it. Look at that. That's sick. That's not gonna look good on TV.
Yeah, whatever that is, it's not gonna look
Whatever
good.
it was.
That's gonna be bad for a profile, unfortunately.
Little do they know, Daniel did have the best hand.
I play so bad. I know Daniel's playing the rush and he's going to re-raise.
Yes, that was what I was doing.
I knew it.
The analysis post-flop is not the time to get it right. You want to get it during the hand.
You didn't have a
Queen
pair?
seven,
You couldn't call?
5-4.
Imagine you made like a call with 2 3s.
Huh?
What are you doing betting 6,000?
That's when I'm supposed to pick off all the chips from him. When he
bet 6,000?
starts messing with me.
That's
and
if you have a
You got dual smile.
Tony G is looking down on pocket threes. Pre-flop. This looks like a completely standard spot that quietly plants the seeds for disaster. Harlow opens jacks, which is automatic. Tony G peels on the button with pocket threes, happy to take a flop in position and try to flop a set. And Mercier comes along from the blinds with 6-5, a classic speculative hand that plays very well in multi-way pots. No one is doing anything out of line, but the ranges are now perfectly set up for a big cooler on the right texture. That texture arrives immediately. The flop comes as a dream for both Tony and Mercier in very different ways. Tony has flopped bottom set, which against a late position open and a bunch of callers is usually miles ahead and wants to start shoveling money into the middle. Mercier, however, has the 6-5 and quietly flops the straight. When Mercier checks, Harlow does what every pre-flop raiser should do on this board and fires 4,000 for value and protection with his overpair. Tony's raise to 12,000 is textbook with a set on such a wet board. He charges all the straight in combo draws, and he happily gets action from overpairs like jacks, queens, or kings. Mercier now springs the trap, check re-raising to 29,000. From his seat, this sizing builds the pot while still looking like it could be a draw or a smaller made hand, and it gives Harlow a chance to make a mistake behind. Harlow correctly gets out of the way, leaving Tony and Mercier heads up. Once Harlow folds, Tony's decision...
Tony puts them all in.
Call.
Quick call from Jason.
Wow, what a flop.
I just run it once. Better for the TV viewer.
Good luck, boys.
Tony will need the board to pair.
It doesn't on the turn.
I want to feel his heart rate. Jason.
Feel mine.
Yours, we're not, whatever, Yours is gonna ding, ding, ding. His is like ding, ding. Close your eyes, kid. You'll know by the reaction.
The river. The 6 of club.
100, 113.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on ace-queen offsuit. This is just a quick all-in example of how crazy Daniel Negreanu can sometimes be and why all the fans, including me, love him.
Oh, baby.
2 queens on the flop.
This is fun.
Daniel doubles up.
160.
Declare it.
200. There you go. Wow, there you go. I haven't done that in so long.
Tony G is looking down on 10-9 offsuit.
There we go, Phil. Did you raise it?
Pre-flop is Tony G doing exactly what Tony loves to do, take a hand that plays huge on connected boards and drag Hellmuth into a pot.
Back to the same tricks.
I'm not gonna let you two just enjoy
Back to
the
the
pan.
same old, same old.
I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a triangle.
Stuck in the middle.
Hellmuth opens King Jack, a very Hellmuth hand, strong enough to raise, not quite strong enough to want a giant pre-flop war. Tony flats with 10-9 suited, the classic, let's see a flop and torture you later. The flop comes 8, Queen Jack, and it is a total car crash in slow motion. For Tony G, it is perfect. 10-9 gives him the nut straight immediately.
We're gonna draw. Draw your gun.
I got a big draw, Tony. What do you want me to do?
The turn brings the 5 of diamonds, which looks like a total brick. Nothing about this card should scare off a player who was happy on the flop. Tony now leans on the situation. The sizing tells the full story. Into a pot that was already inflated, this is not a little probe, it is a serious ask. With the nuts, Tony wants value from exactly what Hellmuth has, strong one-pair hands and pair plus draws that hate folding versus him. Hellmuth thinks it through and calls again.
Where's the big draw now? Oh, where's the big draw? I'm gonna check to you or what?
Well, I thought maybe you would, yeah.
Yeah.
Hellmuth is now facing the most brutal question. Do you really think I am the kind of guy who triple barrels this size with nothing on this board after you called twice? Or, if Tony ever gives up his bluffs on earlier streets, which he often does when met with resistance, then this river bet becomes heavily weighted toward value. Hellmuth tanks and convinces himself that against Tony G specifically, people just do not always have it.
All right, I call.
He makes the call.
There you go. Welcome to the game.
Ouch.
Just flops the nuts just off the bat.
Welcome to the game. You've been doing a lot of talking. Now show me your bullets. Show me what you brought to the game. Where's your money? Don't tell me you're going to play with that crap. You're not going to embarrass yourself here, are you? Yet again. Phil, produce.
Tony G is holding 5-4 offsuit. Pre-flop. Tony G opens to 1,000. Hellmuth bumps it to 2,000. That re-raise looks small, almost like a keep-it-friendly sizing, but it is actually very revealing. With a hand that plays great post-flop and dominates Tony's usual junk, Hellmuth chooses control over punishment. He does not go big and try to blow Tony out. He invites him in.
Things can get nasty at the end, right? The river was wild.
Confident that if they see a flop, he will outplay him. Tony checks, which is standard with his marginal pair and draw potential. But Hellmuth checks back as well. That check from a 3-better on this texture is all about pot control and deception. In Hellmuth's head, his hand is good often enough that he wants to see turns and rivers without inflating variance. From Tony's perspective, this is the perfect moment to take the lead. He bets 4,000. It looks like a probe from a weak 9 or a semi-bluff, but underneath it is pure value, designed to keep Hellmuth's entire range in.
Call.
That's 10 grand. Phil calls, sees the bad news.
He has a full house.
You didn't raise?
At least maybe we'll get the blow up we're all waiting for.
I know you got a flush.
Deny. This guy's raising.
He's got You drew.
Explosion's about to happen.
Bring the trike.
Bottom pair against top pair, where he's going to pay me off another 7,000, 8,000, but no, he fills up and wins 14 from me.
You're a disgrace to the game.
Where do you come up with that?
I'll tell you, can I tell you one thing, Tony? Can I tell you one thing? I wish that I weren't a bad loser sometimes, but it's 10 times as bad to be a bad winner. And you're a bad winner, my friend.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on Jack 10 suited.
That just makes me so sick to my stomach. I mean, whether I'm right or wrong, it just makes me sick that...
Pre-flop this looks innocent, but the roles at the table are already defined. Mercier is the young, aggressive straddler. Hellmuth is the self-appointed sheriff who hates getting pushed around. Hellmuth just limps with Jack 10 suited, a hand that could easily open or raise, but that he chooses to park in the weeds. The flop comes 4-5 king, 2 diamonds. It is a board that hits the straddler way more than the limper. Mercier has actually connected, bottom pair plus a gut shot, with some backdoor diamond possibilities. Hellmuth has pure air. When Hellmuth checks, Mercier does exactly what you expect a good aggressive player to do. He fires 1,200 into the dead money. Small sizing, classic range bet saying, I have all the kings, 5s, and random pairs here, and you probably don't. Hellmuth's response is immediate and loud. He snap raises to 4,000. That raise is not really about his cards. It is about yanking the pot away from the kid who just stabbed at it. The turn brings the ace of clubs and dramatically shifts the texture without actually improving either hand in a made hand sense. Mercier's 4 is still just a small pair, but now Hellmuth picks up a legitimate draw. After representing strength on the flop, Hellmuth has found some real backup equity. He leans into the story and bets 8,000. That sizing is telling. It is not all in pressure. It is a keep calling if you dare. The river is the 6 of hearts, a complete brick for Hellmuth. This is the moment where a lot of players light money on fire by following through just because they have to tell the story. Hellmuth does something quietly smart. He gives up. He checks and admits that his bluff has run out of road.
What the is going on here? The bad player should call with bottom pair. I call 9,000 more with Jack 10 or whatever the hell he had. I just spike a jack like it's nothing.
Like 2 jacks.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, Donnie. Well done.
I would be.
That's fine. You made a good call. I just want to play another 5-6 hours and see how many times you lose with hands like that. Jason, I think, is an excellent player.
He just said he was a bad player.
I'm the
Right
bad
after
player,
the hand, you go,
apparently.
these bad players. And he's the one who made these bad players calling me with bottom pair. See, that's the thing. You insult him because you're losing and feel like it's
I
okay.
thought you hit the 6. I was kind of upset. That's
You
why
thought he hit the 6?
I made a disgusting check in
You
the
went
river.
check.
God, I just lost.
Put him on 6-7.
16.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on pocket nines. He is mostly up against celebrities, but even in those situations, people find ways to make him tilt, and Mr. Beast won't be an exception.
Now he picks up the hand that won him his first World Series of Poker main event.
As we could have all expected, having amateurs on the table doesn't make things go fast, and people are more likely to play with random hands, as we can see by the many limpers. Slime takes things into his own hands, though, and raises to $2,400. That gets snap called by Mr. Beast, and after some weird shenanigans from XQC, 3 betted by him with ace deuce offsuit.
Mr. Beast with 150 in front of him, so
$1.3 million retail, like a 450 in inventory. The what? I just told the story like 3 times.
He lost a shit ton of money by tweeting out, I'm gonna give people free chocolate who like this tweet.
Oh, yeah.
Now we can observe XQC looking for the jack somewhere below the table, but as he can't find it, he decides to check, which is followed by a unison check around the table until Mr. Beast does this.
Well, you're right, 10.
I don't know what Mr. Beast has, but based on what else everybody else has.
Let me know in the comments, what is your guess for Mr. Beast's cards?
Phil's gonna call anyway with 9s. Not a believer.
The turn brings the 8 of diamonds, which I don't really know how to feel about. Not knowing Mr. Beast's cards, he might have a straight or a flush draw, and I bet Phil Hellmuth is getting more and more heated with those pocket 9s. After you see Phil Hellmuth's blow up, make sure to rate it in the comments from 1 to 10 of how crazy it was on the Brat scale.
He has probably something good, and he wants me to bet. But I kind of want him to bet as well, so it's fine.
What's your call on you bet?
25.
You make 2 pair, 10-3?
Okay. I mean, I have a queen, so you probably have a king.
You got a queen? You got me.
Yeah.
Queen of hearts, 5 of hearts.
It's like impossible that I could ever be losing in this game. The man just bet a queen 5. I called 5,000 under the fucking gun. I got to have 9s or above, and he bet a queen 5 for value on the river.
Phil Hellmuth is looking down on 9-7 offsuit. He limps, which caps his range and invites someone to attack the dead money. Minieri obliges with an isolation raise using a suited king, a great candidate because it has blockers, plays well post-flop, and pushes the button on everyone who limped. Locke and Martinez come along, which pulls the SPR up and widens continuing ranges.
I get unstuck. I get off the tilt juice.
Hard to get off that tilt teat.
Hellmuth overcalls rather than 3-betting, a choice that keeps the pot manageable, preserves positional leverage against the razor, and allows weaker holdings to realize without facing a big pre-flop decision. This texture is excellent for the pre-flop aggressor. As the only player who routinely shows up with strong King X after raising, Minieri can c-bet profitably. The small sizing pressures ace high, punishes underpairs, and denies equity to random backdoors while risking little against slow-played traps. Hellmuth check calls instead of raising. That keeps bluffs firing, prevents the pot from ballooning versus the portion of Minieri's range that will not fold, and sets up a decision tree where Hellmuth can choose which turns to accelerate on. Multi-way callers have folded, so we are quickly moving toward a heads-up range battle that favors the in-position player's initiative and the out-of-position player's ability to trap. The second king super polarizes things. From Minieri's seat, this is a green light to barrel because his range contains far more King X than Hellmuth's limp call range. The bet around $5,300 targets exactly the hands that called once and hate life now, medium pairs and stubborn ace high, and it continues to build a pot in case he is ahead. Hellmuth's second check call is strategic. Raising isolates him against very strong holdings and folds out hands that might bluff again. Calling keeps his range wider, invites another polarized river bet, and protects the times he is bluff catching with decent showdown value. From a range math perspective, once the king pairs the pre-flop raiser's value density increases, which means the out-of-position player should avoid thin raises and lean into induce lines. Nothing material completes, so Minieri retains a nut advantage and chooses a large polar bet of $17,200. That sizing asks a capped range to overdefend, and it puts maximum pressure on one-pair type catchers that arrived here by calling twice.
Oh, man.
Hellmuth's final check call makes sense within that framework. He beats all the natural stabs that gave up drawing equity on the turn.
It's just unreal what happens to me at this place. I mean, I'm just so sick of it, you know? I mean,
I had the best on the turn, I had the best hand on the river.
What the is going on in this place? They do me
What the is going on the river? How do you call it? You always
trips.
take a bluff, I only wait for the nuts.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on Queen 3 offsuit. He opens to $4,000 after folds.
I like this.
That raise comes from a range that includes most suited queens and bluffs that keep him wide versus two sticky callers. Kenny's flat call is very playable if he expects the opener to fire too often and the blinds to continue light. Solomon closes the action. This paired low board heavily favors the pre-flop raiser's C-bet strategy. Negreanu owns the overpairs and all the hands that can bet small. Kenny's check call range is condensed, ace high, mid pairs, and some slow-played overpairs. Negreanu's bet is the modern range-wide stab. It denies equity from two overcards and keeps his value and bluff buckets indistinguishable. Kenny calls, which already caps him away from many check-raise value hands. Texture changes a little. 7-6 and 6-3 improve to straights, and Solomon's backdoor 8x would have picked up top pair, but he's gone. For the two players left, Negreanu still retains a nut advantage portfolio of overpairs, plus the occasional 5x suited. His bluffs pick up backdoors only rarely, so he leans on fold equity. 16,000 pressures, exactly what Kenny showed on the flop, ace high and pocket pairs under 10s. Kenny's call again narrows him to ace-queen and ace-king high, pocket 6s through 9s, and a few traps. Crucially, he almost never has trips or a turned 8 that wants to raise, so his range remains capped. When Kenny checks a third time, his range is now mostly ace-high and middling pairs, hoping to get to showdown. He has very few slow-played monsters after declining to raise earlier streets on such a safe runout. Negreanu fires a polarized, overbet adjacent sizing. What does he represent? Overpairs that bet all three streets, and the thin value of a 5x that never feared a raise. What does he target? Exactly ace-queen, ace-king, and pocket 7s through 9s.
Kenny folds.
That's one of those, right, Phil?
That was fun to watch.
Let's see it then.
You want to see it? You don't want to see it. It'll tilt you, for sure.
Let's see. I want to see it then.
You guys really want to see? Make the game better? All right, show one for the boys.
Daniel Negreanu is holding Queen-Jack offsuit. He opens to $2,500. That's a bread-and-butter late position open, dominates the Queen-10 and Jack-10 holdings that call too often, has blockers to 3 bets, and plays cleanly post-flop in position. 3 callers flatten with wide, capped ranges. Offsuit broadways, suited aces, suited connectors, paired high card textures heavily favor the pre-flop raiser because he has all the strong Queen X and slow-played overpairs. Many callers arrive with 8x, pocket pairs, floats, or the diamond backdoors. Negreanu continuation bets $6,000 into a multi-way field, small sizing that targets folds from ace-high and underpairs while keeping dominated Queen X and diamond draws in. When Hashem continues, his range is mostly Queen X, pocket pairs stubbornly peeling, and diamond hands. Ace-high floats with backdoor equity also show up. The board double pairs, which is a dream card for the raiser's Queen X. Negreanu's value density jumps because any queen now makes a full house, and his bluffs retain good fold equity against stubborn pocket pairs and busted backdoors. He bets $12,000, again a pressure, but keep worse in sizing. Given action, Hashem is rarely trapping queens. He's weighted to diamonds, ace-high floats, and the occasional pocket pair praying for a river miracle. That river improves a lot of Hashem's floats to 1 pair of aces, but it doesn't dent Negreanu's nut edge. Queens still bowed up. 8s don't exist for Hashem often, and missed diamonds remain abundant. After Hashem checks the third time, Negreanu fires $27,000 for clear value.
As we young internet kids say, you're polarized. Isn't that right, Jose?
Yeah.
It's polarized.
It's polarized.
You haven't fuffled. Show me one.
Okay.
Daniel shows the jack.
I fold.
Oh, damn it.
The loose cannon is looking down on pocket jacks. He puts in the re-raise to 4,200, and that single decision defines everyone else's incentives. From his seat, he is doing two things at once: value targeting the opener with a tight, high card-heavy range, and forcing the field to reveal how speculative they're willing to get at price. And Hashem, with a mid-pair, is taking the classic set mine plus pressure line. The price after a 3-bet is not perfect, but against 3 players, the implied odds get juicier, and 7s retain outs against almost anything.
Okay, we all wasted time. We did our little, every one of us, we did the, we know we're calling.
Yeah, whenever you call, everybody knew it was.
We all know we're calling. It's just a little, we're trying to be like Jennifer Tilly there a little bit. Actress.
Oh, yeah.
The loose cannon has just connected in the strongest way possible and chooses stillness over fireworks. He does not need protection on this texture, and in a 4-handed pot, any bet from the pre-flop aggressor looks so credible that it will vacuum the air out of the room. By checking, he invites stories to bloom from worse hands and gives the field a chance to stab into a board they should attack. The turn brings the 4 of hearts, barely nudging ranges, and the checks roll to Hashem. Now he fires 12,000, smart, targeted pressure. He is keying on the universal fear of trips, punishing capped checkbacks, and leveraging position to buy folds from ace highs and small pairs that hate life facing 2 streets.
That's what you did last time.
When?
12,000.
Last night, Hashem bet 12-5 on the river against the loose cannon. Ken made the call with queens, and Joe showed him 2 pair to take it.
It was 12,500 last time.
Frankowski just calls. Note the elegance. Raising here collapses Hashem's bluffs and isolates only better or folding hands. Calling keeps the net wide, disguises strength, and lets Hashem talk himself into bigger numbers on rivers that do not change much. River is the deuce, another brick, and Hashem does the unthinkable.
I'm all in.
He's all in.
Call.
4 jacks, I guess.
Keating's looking down on ace-queen offsuit. Peter comes along with ace-7 suited, a hand that plays fine multi-way but is easily dominated by Keating's calling range. Stanley takes the button with Jack-10, a classic position hand that realizes equity well against 3 opponents. Keating flats pre-flop with ace-queen from the small blind instead of squeezing. Out of position and deep, that call invites dominated aces and worse queens to continue while avoiding a bloated pot against a raiser who can 4-bet. The flop favors ranges that arrived by calling. Keating's ace-queen makes second pair with the best kicker and holds the key blocker to Broadway. His call versus the c-bet is standard. Raising turns his hand into a bluff catcher against stronger kings and sets while isolating himself versus better. Peter's call with ace-7 is thin but defensible. He has bottom pair, an overcard, and backdoor hearts, and he wants to keep his range uncapped for later streets. Stanley's call with Jack-10 is mandatory. He has the best improvement potential with the open-ender and position. The turn ace changes the incentive structure completely. Keating now holds aces and queens, and, out of position in a multi-way pot, checking is superior. Betting announces strength, repels worse, and makes it easy for a better ace like ace-king to play perfectly against him. By checking, he allows weaker aces and floats to fire or show down worse. Peter quietly improves to 2-pair, and he should notice how clean his value targets are. Aces that didn't connect with the king or queen, plus stubborn kings that hate folding. But checking has logic too. He controls the pot and traffic and preserves bluffs for the river. Stanley's check is the costly one. With Jack-10, he owns the nuts on a paired board that still grants him clear value from top pairs and combo draws. Letting it check through surrenders value and protection, and it exposes him to exactly what happens next. The board pairs again, and his straight gets stone dead. The river double pairs the ace and reorders the hierarchy. Keating upgrades to aces full of queens, Peter lands on aces full of 7s, and Stanley is drawing thin to chatter.
And this is going to get very nasty for Peter. Maybe Stanley also, but especially Peter.
Checks from Keating and the original raiser are invitations. Peter accepts with a big bet that targets trip aces and missed draws and tries to dodge raises from the few better full houses. Stanley correctly folds once the ace pairs again, straights are dust. Keating's river decision should lean exploitative here. Against Peter, who routinely overplays strong 1-pair and boat combos, a value raise prince. Keating's hand is under-repped. He blocks the most common equal boat with the queen. Peter's turn check makes ace-king less likely, and Texas Mike is capped after check-check.
Did he just call? He just called.
Not having no internet kids coming here and being tight ass. All right, and you're gonna play every hand.
We're gonna get that across right away.
I got it across and that was right. You're gonna play every hand here. You don't come here and play tight, okay? Come on internet you play like in 1 second. And when you come here now, you come to my game and you're wasting my time.
Amanda, bring a tricycle.
These kids are coming here, taking me on.
Tony, calm down, please.
All of this fighting that we just saw culminates in the hand we are taking a look at today. Our hero is holding ace-jack offsuit and has already raised to $2,500. Let's see where his aggression will take him and us.
6 tray suited, good enough to call for Daniel. Queen Jack for Alan Barry, who folds.
It's a little tight, but he is dominated.
And Reynolds folds.
Also tight, both guys were out of position to the razor.
I'm very unhappy right now.
The flop comes deuce ace king with a flush draw for Negreanu and top pair for our hero. With everybody but Negreanu folding, our hero is in prime position with his pair of aces to take over the pot. He fires a small bet of $4,000, which Negreanu casually calls. I would bet more aggressively and try to defend the top pair from the flush draw.
The turn, the 10 of diamonds, Roble picks up a straight draw.
Daniel misses.
This 10 on the turn is a tricky one. On one hand, it denies the flush draw, but on the other opens up the straight draw. Negreanu bets a bit over half the pot and is bluffing really hard and praying the river delivers him a flush. Let's hope our hero sees through his bluff and at least call. And call he does. With the top pair and a gut shot straight draw, it will be crazy to fold the hand. The river delivers another 10, which completely wrecks both of our guys' hopes. The only question is who will bluff trip 10s first.
Daniel's got air, but if he wants to win this pot, he's going to have to use that air to blow Andrew off his hand.
After a short consideration, Negreanu fires a bet of $18,000, which sits at a bit over half the pot. And that bet will trigger a huge blow-up from Tony G, who is not even in the hand. Negreanu's bet is big from the perspective of our hero, so he takes his sweet time to consider his next action, which is usually completely reasonable on a cash game table, but not when Tony G is in the picture.
I'm going to walk out. If these guys are going to come here, waste my time, I'm going to walk out of the game. It's a joke. Canal is thinking 20 minutes every hand he's playing. Nit.
Here comes floorman Tom Keene, who's received more airtime than Hoyt Corkins, who went broke in 8 hands in the big game.
All right, Andrew, we're going to go through the same thing.
You play online, it's like quick. 2 seconds, bang, bang, they're pressing buttons. They come here, they freeze up.
With the countdown already ticking, all the pressure in the world was on our hero and his pair of aces. Let me know in the comments what is the best hand that you regret folding.
He folds.
What?
Phil Hellmuth is looking down at ace-jack offsuit. He is raised to $2,000, but he's up against Harlow with pocket eights. And Tony G, he's lurking, and he's not planning to stay quiet for long.
Action begins on Phil, ace-jack, raised to 2,000. Pocket pair for Russ.
Pot.
Raises to 7,200.
Harlow is the loose cannon in this game, which means he's an amateur who's been given $100,000 to play against 5 pros. Whatever he makes over $100,000, he gets to keep. Meanwhile, Tony G folded, but this is not the last time we see and hear of him this hand.
How much more do you have?
Helmut is fishing for information, trying to get a read on the delivery driver. Every second Harlow spends fumbling with his chips gives Phil little clues about how strong he really feels.
Phil calls and gives him the WWE stare down. Hellmuth off the top rope. The flop, 10-6 deuce, 3 clubs. Hellmuth checks the nut flush draw.
Harlow's ahead for now, but Phil's sitting there with 2 overcards, a nut flush draw, and about 27 different ways to ruin this man's whole poker career. If Harlow fires a bet here, things could get messy fast, because Hellmuth is definitely not folding this one soon. But Harlow decides to check it back to him.
The turn gives Russ a set. Hellmuth, chips in hand, leads out to 5,500.
Gotta take a chance sometime.
I'm supposed to think you're weak, right? Because you're talking?
I won't bet more than 9,000 on the river if you call.
I'm all in.
Russ Harlow, all in.
Hellmuth throws out a little feeler bet, just trying to stir the pot. But Harlow responds by setting the whole kitchen on fire. This is actually an incredible read from the delivery driver against arguably the best poker player of all time. Now Phil's got to decide if that nut flush draw is enough to pull him out of the flames, or if he's about to get roasted. He thinks for about 5 minutes and Tony G is starting to lose his patience.
So you potted it before the flop.
It's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
I mean, just make a decision, you know? Like, there's other people in the game, too. You're a professional player playing against a loose cannon. I mean...
Now I'm trying to make a decision for 43,000. Can you just shut the up? Call
You're a
floor
professional
man.
player?
Call floor man.
You're insulting everyone. I mean, we're here, we want to play, too.
He's completely out of line here. So I
think he's completely out of line because he's been taking forever to make a decision. Against an amateur player coming in here as the best player in the world, taking 15 minutes to make a decision.
I haven't taken 15 minutes. You want to bet on that?
Well, you will.
You're
that's
so
why
out of
I'm
line.
talking about
You know,
it.
your etiquette's horrible. Stay out of this.
Gentlemen,
Stay out. Let's hear your ruling.
We're going to put you on the clock right now. You got a minute and 10 seconds.
That's your ruling?
Right.
I hope you're proud of yourself, Tony.
Story checks out.
Phil folds. And those are tears of joy.
Mike X is looking down on 4-3 suited. Pre-flop this looks like a friendly limped almost family pot, but it secretly plants the seeds for a brutal cooler. J-Boggs just limps UTG with King 9 suited, Big Mike over limps with Ace 7, and Mike X comes along with 4-3 suited. Nobody has defined anything. There is no pre-flop aggression. And that means, once the board gets messy, ranges stay wide, and people get married to hands they should be more suspicious of. The flop comes Ace-Jack 5 with a flush draw. It is one of those textures that punches Big Mike right in the chest, top pair with a decent kicker. J-Boggs leads 900 into the field, semi-bluffing with his draw and representing some weak ace or jack. Big Mike's call is very natural. He is way ahead of all the random stabs and worse aces that can limp. Mike X's call with bottom pair plus backdoor possibilities looks loose, but has a plan. In a limped pot, he is getting a good price and knows that if he improves, his hand will be heavily disguised. The turn brings the 4, which is a complete brick for Mike X. He is still hoping to draw that 4 of diamonds, so let's see what happens. And still no obvious danger showing. Action goes. Check from J-Boggs. Big Mike fires 3,000 as a standard value bet with top pair on a coordinated board. Mike X just calls again, and J-Boggs comes along with his strong draw. That passive flat from Mike X is sneaky, but it also keeps the pot multi-way on a board that is starting to load up with strong-made hands and big draws. By the time they see a river, the pot is already big relative to stacks. The river drops the deuce, completing the flush wheel for Mike X, but, crucially, also completing the front door flush for J-Boggs. J-Boggs checks trying to trap with what he assumes is the nuts. Big Mike gives up and checks behind, and Mike X goes for what looks like a thin but reasonable value bet of 6,500. When J-Boggs now check raises to 20,000, he is screaming polarization, either a busted bluff turning into a story, or exactly a big flush. Mike X's shove over the top takes his hand from cleverly disguised to face-up spew. J-Boggs obliges and snaps with the king-high nut flush.
Can't fold.
Here's the call. And here comes Clifford.
I fucking knew it. I have the nut flush. Nut flush? Yeah.
Uh-oh. The red canine brings out the red canine. Go get him. Take him off his leash.
When he re-raised, like, can't have anything else.
Go get Clifford out of rebuy corner. Clifford's down there. We're gonna have to follow you. Make sure you don't
Lost
punch.
the sickest pot maybe I've ever lost in my life.
Oh, Cliffy.
Nut flush for a straight flush on the river for like 90,000.
79, but who's counting?
Deuce has never looked that good. That was a good-looking deuce.
Wow.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on 6-5 of spades. He opens the suited connector because that's Negreanu's playground hand, cheap, connected, and live. Williams flatting the suited wheel ace is already a headache for anyone who c-bets too often. In position, deep, and with the ace of spades, he's got you in a leash if the board gets wet. Flop comes disaster for most ranges, but both players hit the spade. Negreanu has the baby flush, and does the thing he always does in these textures. Small c-bet to fold out air, tax the lone spade hands, and keep the initiative. From his chair, that bet looks profitable against a ton of single spade peels and random overcards that hate life. Williams just calls with the nut spade like he's ordering room service. Why raise when the guy with the microphone wants to keep talking? Let him. Turn is a brick that freezes almost nobody. Negreanu barrels bigger. That sizing is classic. I can still be the boss. Telling the table he can easily have the ace or king of spades, and that worse flushes should pay to see the river. Williams still doesn't accelerate. Flat again. That second call is a quiet message. Nothing you're repping scares me, and I'm not done letting you put money in for me. To Negreanu's eyes, that's a card that changes nothing. He is either the sole flush or Williams has him beat. For that reason, he slows down and bets only 6,000. Williams is not happy with and raises to 36,000, trying to juice his nut flush to the max.
How much more?
30,000 more.
Daniel calls and sees the terrible news.
Welcome to my world.
I had a flush too.
We could have got it all in on the flop.
Jesus.
Doyle Brunson is looking down on ace-8 suited. Scott Seaver opens to 1,200 from early position into a deep, splashy lineup. The table does what this table always does. They come along. Phil Galfond flats, the loose cannon. Given calls, Doyle Brunson calls, and a couple more chips splash in behind. No one wants to fold suited cards or connected stuff in position, and Seaver is now driving a multi-way pot with a stack-to-pot ratio that rewards made hands and nutted draws more than thin bluffs. Flop is a fireworks board in a 5-way pot. It checks down to Galfond, who takes the initiative for 2,600. That probe makes sense with overcards, pairs, or a diamond in hand. Given immediately springs to 10,000. From his seat, Jack 10 of diamonds, or a single diamond hand with some backdoors, feels like it wants to put pressure on one diamond check calls and small pairs. Doyle just calls. That flat is icy. It invites everyone to continue while hiding the real story. Ace-8 of diamonds has already arrived at the nut flush, and cold calling keeps in every dominated diamond that wants to rep strength. The king of hearts hits. Front door diamonds are still the headline, and the king also upgrades a few holdings to top pair plus a diamond, given shoves. He is polar now, telling the table he has a monster or nothing, and with Jack 10 of diamonds, he believes he is value, jamming a strong flush before a scary river kills action. Doyle does not posture or speech play, he just calls. That call is the hammer drop. When the man with the cowboy hat does not even consider raising, it caps everyone else and quietly signals, "I have you crushed, keep betting."
All in.
He's all in. Doyle calls.
He's got the nuts.
I got the... Oh. I just straight. Good hand. I'm drawing dead. Good game, guys.
Good game, man.
It was fun.
Whoa, Canada. That's it for the cannon.
Dang, you hit the card and you didn't...
Yeah.
The loose cannon is looking down on 10-8 suited. He opens to 2,000 from early position and gets a crowd of people that flat behind him. Nobody is squeezing, so the pot goes multi-way with a lot of capped ranges. Ferdinand still owns the initiative, but he is also walking into a 4-way pot, which can always get messy.
Love the action, boys. I could use these chips.
Yeah, we're giving you the action, you know that.
Can you feel the love?
I love it.
You'll get the opportunity, that's for sure.
Well, if I fold, I'm definitely rooting for you to win.
Flop comes a minefield. Veldhuis has Queen 9 suited and quietly connects with top pair. Ferdinand's 10-8 is the hand of the moment here. A flop straight with front door flush and straight flush draws. Mosseri has 2 big overcards and air. Jetton has 10-3 and is done unless something weird happens. Checks roll around to Veldhuis, and that tells him exactly what he needs to know. Nobody screaming straight or a set, and Ferdinand did not stab as the pre-flop raiser. Veldhuis takes the lead for 5,700.
I'm all in.
And he's going all in again. Abe folds.
I wonder who we're rooting for this hand.
Probably rooting for me to fold.
Ferdinand does not mess around. He rips it. With a flop straight and front door flush, his shove is the classic pressure play.
You got some sick reads, Lex. You got reads on all of us.
We know one guy that's rooting for you to fold. There he is. There he is. He's about to come over and take your cards and throw them right in the muck.
And by using his image of the loose cannon, Veldhuis thinks for about a beat and then...
Lex calls, and Bobby loves it.
You got it? Oh my God.
Wow, everything. That is everything.
Pretty nice hand, sir. Nuts.
Nuts redraw.
All season long, I see loose cannons going all in with ace high, middle pair, bottom pair.
Nope, nuts.
That's like going through my head.
You can't even hit the 9 of diamonds to help you make a full house here.
Just the one time is fine for Bobby, thanks. The meaningless river.
Oh, straight flush.
Straight flush he made.
That's sick.
Andy is looking down on ace-4 suited in a three-way pot. Mariano raised to $500 with king 10 suited, and Charles 3-bet to $2,000.
Could we see a cold 4-bet? No, he's going to call, though. Mariano's going to 4-bet, though. Charles calls. Andy may be considering something.
Good call.
He just calls.
The pot is $27,000 pre-flop. They all have an equal chance for now. Let's see what the flop brings.
Oh, no! You gotta be kidding me!
Andy checks because he thinks he has the best hand. Mariano checks because he knows he has the best hand. And Charles checks because he knows he's drawing dead. The turn comes 3 of hearts, and it changes nothing for everyone.
Mariano, in a 4-bet pot, has flopped a straight flush. And Andy with the ace-high flush.
Mariano cannot check anymore with the straight flush and value bets $8,000. Charles understandably folds.
Mariano started this hand with about $300,000.
Andy raises to pot amount $35,000.
Imagine having a straight flush and getting raised.
The only way to get away from an ace-high flush is if the board pairs. In poker, the correct move doesn't always get you the win. Let's see how much Mariano is gonna bet here, and if Andy makes one of the greatest folds in poker history.
Mariano on the right side of your screen, right there, has flopped a straight flush in a 4-bet pot. $97,000 in the pot.
There's no way anyone is folding ace-high flush here.
Board does not pair, and Andy just bets $120,000. Mariano moves all in. Andy calls and shows him the ace. $611,000 pot, and Mariano can't believe it.
Daniel is looking down at Queen Jack suited. 2 players before him have called a pre-flop raise, but he decides to 3-bet to $400. Bo is in the tank, and by the look on his face, folding is not even an option. He's got Queen 5 offsuit, no position, and just watch Daniel fire a 3-bet. What is he even thinking? He just calls, and Dat right after him calls too, holding King 9 suited. A hand that looks way prettier than it actually is when sandwiched between a 3-bet and a call. Jake's turn now, and he also decides to call with 3-4 suited while getting a massage. Damn, that looks good. In fact, I'm gonna visit my Thai masseuse after I finish this video.
Wow. That's a nice flop for Daniel. Not so much for Jake, though he may not think that right now. Top 2 for Dat as well.
Bo, somehow still alive in this hand with Queen 5 offsuit and 0 clubs, fires $500 into a $2,000 pot like he's playing an entirely different game. Is this a bet or a donation? Dat makes the call with top 2 pair, but he knows better than to get frisky here. In a 4-way pot with 3 clubs on the flop, raising would be like poking a beehive and hoping for honey. Jake raises to $3,200 with just a baby flush, and while that might technically be a made hand, it's far from safe. He's not repping the nuts. He's just hoping to scare off anyone sitting there with a single club and a decision to make. Daniel just flats with the second nut flush, a move that keeps the pot manageable, but might come back to haunt him. A raise here could have smoked out any 1-club hand still chasing that dreaded nut flush, but instead, he opts to play it cool.
I fold.
That club is going to kill Daniel's action despite him having the super nuts.
Daniel moves all in right away and Jake folds.
Wow.
I know what to do. I fluffed a nut. Oh my God. Thank you. Straight flush. Is that crazy though?
Daniel Negreanu looks down to King 10 offsuit, a hand with decent equity in a 4-way pot. Against him is Elizabeth Houston, who opens to a Queen Jack offsuit. Let's see who will the poker gods bless this time.
See that? Cheap flop.
Reynolds folds.
Also makes it easier to call this 3-bet from Tony G.
He raises to 2,000. Queen Jack for the cannon. She calls out of position. So does Daniel.
And like that, Williams built himself his own little pot odds.
He calls 2. 4-person party to the flop.
The flop comes 8-queen jack rainbow, which is perfect for Houston. She is looking at top 2 pair with no danger of a flush and only a potential straight or a pocket pair being in her way. Her odds look great, but I think she should have bet harder before Negreanu had a chance to see more of the community cards.
I fold.
Thank you, William.
With the bet sizing being insufficient, even Tony G with his mid pair of jacks that have 2% equity will make the call. The turn delivers the 4 of spades. Things couldn't have been better for Houston. Pocket 4s would have probably folded, same as the pocket 6s from earlier, but she is still afraid of the flush and straight draw. That's why she fires a bet for a bit over half the pot, which I think will be yet again not enough to get Negreanu off his hand.
Daniel's checking out her stack, knowing she probably has something strong enough to lose it all if he does make the nuts.
Negreanu casually calls her $15,000 bet as predicted. But at least Tony G and his adventuristic jacks are gone. Now let's see what the turn will bring for Negreanu. And it is the ace. What a cooler this will be at the end.
That's Daniel's gin card, and this could get ugly for the cannon. I expect her to bet here.
Now she checks.
Somehow she knew to slow down. Daniel's got the nuts. Let's see how much he thinks she'll pay off.
50.
If Elizabeth has watched the show at all, she would know Daniel doesn't bluff raise the river very often. No one does.
If Elizabeth makes this call, she'll have less than $30,000 remaining in her stack.
Call.
Ouch.
She sees it.
Damn it.
She's in with 6s.
Jennifer Tilly kicks things off with pocket 6s. This is a decent hand to entertain a small raise with and see if luck is on your side.
Back on Arden. She calls the 3-bet as well, so 3-way to the flop. Oh my word, set over set and Griffin's flop top pair?
This is going to be bad for Griffin, but it's going to be real bad for Arden.
With the board that the flop delivers, everyone has something to bet about. But instead of that, Tilly and Cho decide to check. With that in mind, our weak top pair is trying to take control of the board by shooting a small bet of $2,500. Tilly is loving it because other than a set of kings, nothing else on the board beats her, and she would love to see this pot growing, so naturally she calls. Miss Cho, on the other hand, has a completely different plan. She is not waiting for the pot to grow. She is growing it herself. She does that by firing a $9,400 bet. Now Benger has a choice. Entertain this top pair, or realize the truth and just give up.
Why is he so serious? He's like a goober 99% of the time.
The angry man quickly decides to fold and not pursue the king. On the other hand, Tilly is more than happy to oblige Miss Cho by re-raising to $30,000 with her set of 6s.
Oh boy.
Jen re-raises $30,000.
At this point, Miss Cho should know the deep trouble she finds herself in, but still decides to go ahead and call on her set of 5s. The turn delivers the 9 of clubs, a card that is completely irrelevant to both of them. If I was in the position of Tilly, I would be betting pot here. What would you? Let me know in the comments below. I guess Tilly is not so happy about my jamming suggestion, so she decides to check here and wait for something magical on river. Same thing for Miss Cho. In her case, though, that is in her favor.
And Arden spikes a 1-outer. She's got quads. Meanwhile, Jenna's river to full house.
Buckle up, because this hand just went from pretty sick to absolutely bonkers.
People say patience is a virtue, but in Tilly's case, her patience came to bite her from behind. The river delivers the only card that can save Miss Cho, and that is the 5 of clubs. Now the only question is, will Tilly get baited by her now full house hand? Or will she read her for the quads Miss Cho has? And as we all thought she should do, Miss Cho goes.
There it is.
This is not good.
No, it sure isn't.
If Jen calls, this will be the biggest pot of the game.
Arden, do you have quads? Because I can't beat quads.
Does she know?
I don't think you have kings full. And I don't think you have 9s full. You might have 5s full.
That's a call.
Selps kicks things off with 8-7 suited. This is a hand that can be extremely powerful if the flop falls just right. So currently with McClung on the raise, she is just calling in order to see the pot as cheaply as possible. Herrings and Sanchez both limp call and pray for a good flop. Let's see what the dealer has in store for them.
10, 9, 6. What a flop. A straight flush draw for Vanessa Selbst and a set of sixes for Chris McClung.
With this type of flop, it will be a full-on battle of stacks. Vanessa with the straight on the flop and a potential straight flush is in prime position to extract value from the guys that think they have something to play for. And McClung with his set of sixes does exactly that. He bets more than $1,000, inflating the pot for Selbst.
Herring also flopped pretty huge, like his arms.
After this attempt at humor, Selbst and Herring limp into the turn, and Sanchez folds, which is kind of disappointing because Selbst could have extracted more value before the turn.
And there is the straight flush for Vanessa Selbst.
Now that Selbst has the straight flush, she is unbeatable and is begging that somebody raises. But unfortunately for her, I don't know if they read her or it was pure luck. Both McClung and Herring check, which Selbst then follows. The river delivers the 10 of clubs, which is the perfect card to bait McClung into thinking that having a full house is somehow the strongest hand on the table, which he 100% falls for and bets $4,000. He doesn't want anyone who isn't committed to the hand to be playing it. Selbst takes her sweet time in deciding what to do, which is understandable. When you know you have the best hand on the board, you have the tough decision to make on what size raise do you make to extract maximum value.
She moves all in. Herring folds, decision on McClung.
Herring understandably folds this wild all-in raise from Selbst, but I am wondering whether McClung will take the bait with this full house that he has.
It is bottom full house. Maybe he gets away.
I call.
No, he calls.
Daniel Negreanu is looking down on King-Queen offsuit. The table is four-way after Tony G opens, and Viffer, Negreanu, and Scott Seaver all come along. That matters because equities flatten in multi-way pots. Single pair hands lose value while nutted, and draw heavy holdings gain. Tony G's range from early position in this lineup still contains suited connectors.
This is room for everyone to keep improving.
I mean, the way you guys all play, there's certainly tons of room.
Yeah.
Scott calls.
I'm going to go with an old Hellmuth trick. Watch this, gentlemen. Check in the dark. How do you fade that? Seriously. Check in the dark. I don't even want to see what's coming.
Checking through is revealing. On this texture, the pre-flop raiser has a lot of one pair and gut shot combinations that dislike being raised by three players.
See how that worked? Because if I wouldn't have done that, they would have been more scared. My turn, right?
Daniel's still open-ended.
Did you qualify?
Yes. I've qualified pretty comfortably at this point. Question is, how much do I want to put in there?
You checked.
No, I'm not, for sure.
He's not checking?
Yeah. If you're folding any bet, you can just do that now. I'm going to put in...
The turn is the 7 of spades, a huge card for Tony G's side of the range, and a bad one for capped checkbacks. Negreanu leads $3,600 into the field, a small sizing that targets folds from the Broadway airballs, and denies equity to Queen 9, 9-8, and the club draws. Scott's call with Queen Jack keeps dominated queens in, but the raise from Tony G to $14,000 is the pivotal data point. After a street of passivity, that raise is heavily weighted to value.
If I win the pot, I'll give you your money back.
Negreanu's call with King-Queen looks ambitious only if you ignore blocker logic. He removes the queen that completes Tony G's higher straight and retains outs to the ace or 9 to make his own. Scott correctly recognizes he's in kicker jail and releases.
Wow, that was a big sweat.
Took a long time. That speech really got him.
He made a big laydown just now.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Range-wise, it's a dagger for Tony G. His made straight from the turn remains a straight, but Negreanu's King-Queen now upgrades to the higher straight. When Negreanu fires $35,000, the story is polarized between exactly that high straight and bluffs that bricked clubs or random Queen X that tried to push Tony G off a one-pair hand.
Are you also offering my $4,800 back if you...
Tony calls and Daniel wins a $100,000 pot.
I had the nuts on the turn. Wow, well done.
Felt like...
Goofy limps the big blind with King 10 suited. Limping protects his range, invites isolates from hands he dominates, and keeps the pot manageable out of position with a hand that plays cleanly post-flop. Nick Airball isolates to $1,200 from under the gun with Queen 9 offsuit. The raise pressures the limp, seizes initiative, and expects to realize equity against a single caller. Goofy calls. Suited Broadway is too strong to fold, too thin to 3-bet out of position, and calling keeps Nick's range wide. Goofy checks. On an ace high, 2-diamond texture, Nick is supposed to continuation bet often, so checking lets that happen. Nick obliges for $700, a small, range-driven stab that folds air and taxes random backdoors while leaning on his perceived ace advantage. Goofy check raises to $1,700. King 10 of diamonds is a premium semi-bluff, gut shot to Broadway, the king high diamond draw, and even a royal flush. Raising clears out weak queens and 5s to 9s, charges worse draws, and starts a pot that can realize maximum value when diamonds or Broadway materialize. Nick calls with middle pair and position, keeping bluffs in and retaining control of the pot size. Bang! The 3rd diamond lands and Goofy upgrades from a draw to the nuts. With his story perfectly coherent after the flop raise, he leads $2,000. Leading now Prince, worse diamonds pay, stubborn Queen X pays, and some Ace X talk themselves into continuing because the Jack is a counterfeit scare rather than a clean killer in their minds. Goofy goes for a small, irresistible value bet of $3,500. After check raise, lead, and a blank river, this size targets exactly what Nick shows up with most often.
Makes the call. Royale. Royale with cheese. Royal.
If you enjoyed sweating these hands with me, tap the video on the screen and jump into more breakdowns of the craziest poker spots.